Let your shoulders drop and your breathing slow. You're driving an old 1947 Ford pickup, windows rolled all the way down. The warm evening air moving across your arms like gentle water. The road is nothing more than packed dirt and gravel stretching straight between low hills covered in juniper and sage. The sun has just slipped behind the Capitan Mountains, leaving the sky painted in quiet layers of peach, rose, and the softest lavender. No hurry, no traffic, only the low hum of the engine and the soft crunch of tires. The air smells come first. Warm earth after a hot day, distant creosote, a hint of rain that never quite arrived. Cicadas sing in long, slow waves from the ditches. A jackrabbit pauses at the edge of the headlights, ears glowing pink, then hops away without fear. Overhead, the first stars appear, not many yet, begin to show themselves, bright and patient against the fading light. You pass a weathered wooden sign that reads Corona, 18 miles. The letters are sun-bleached, the post leaning a little, as though the desert itself is too relaxed to stand perfectly straight. Cattle guards rattle softly beneath the truck, a friendly sound, like someone shaking a box of marbles far away. Dust rises in a small golden cloud behind you and settles again almost instantly. There are no other cars, no planes overhead, just you, the pickup, and the immense quiet of a New Mexico evening in July 1947. The radio stays off. The static feels unnecessary tonight. Instead, you listen to the wind moving through the open windows, carrying the day's heat away, leaving only comfort behind. Every few miles, the road dips into an arroyo and climbs out again, each rise giving you a wider view of the darkening plains. The horizon feels endless and safe, the way childhood summers felt endless and safe. Fireflies, rare this far west, blink once or twice near a stock tank, then vanish. Somewhere a cow calls to its calf, a low, contented sound that travels for miles in the still air. You ease off the gas and let the truck roll almost to a stop. Engine ticks softly as it cools. Crickets take over the evening chorus. The sky has gone from peach to deep indigo in the east, and Venus hangs low and bright, a single diamond on dark velvet. Ahead, the lights of Corona are still only a faint glow on the horizon, warm and distant. There is no need to reach them quickly. The night is young, the air is perfect, and the road is yours alone. You smile, settle back against the seat, and let the pickup drift forward again, slow as thought. Whatever waits up ahead can wait a little longer. For now, there is only this: warm wind, quiet stars, and the gentle sway of an old truck carrying you deeper into one of the softest evenings the desert has ever given. Breathe in, breathe out. The road keeps its own gentle rhythm, and so do you. The truck rolls to a gentle stop beside a low adobe ranch house, glowing faintly from a single kerosene lamp in the window. You've reached the Foster Ranch, 60 miles from anywhere that matters, tucked into a wide, shallow valley where the land and sky seem to agree on silence. The house is small and honest. Thick walls painted white long ago, now softened to cream by sun and wind. A tin roof that sings softly when it rains. A porch with 2 rocking chairs that move only when someone sits in them. A weathered windmill turns lazily nearby, drawing water, that sweet underground water that tastes faintly of minerals and time. Corrals of juniper posts hold a few horses dozing hipshot under the rising moon. Chickens have already gone to roost. Only their quiet clucking drifts across the yard like distant conversation. You step out. The ground is warm through your boots, still holding the day's heat. The air has cooled just enough to feel perfect against your skin. Somewhere a screen door creaks once and settles. A dog, one gentle bark, then recognition. Pads over, tail sweeping slow circles, and leans against your leg for a moment before wandering off to check the night. The pasture stretches away in every direction, knee-high grama grass silvered by moonlight, rolling gently toward low hills that cup the ranch like protective hands. No fences in sight except the near corrals. The land feels open, trusting. Cattle are dark shapes resting in small groups, breathing slow and deep. An owl calls once from a cedar on the ridge, soft and questioning, then decides everything is fine and falls quiet. You walk a few steps from the truck and stop. Look up. The sky is so clear, so deep, it feels like falling upward. The Milky Way is a river of soft light you could almost step into. Stars crowd close, bright and unblinking, more than you have ever seen in your life. They seem near enough to touch, near enough to hear if you listen carefully. The moon, just past full, hangs low and golden, painting the pasture in gentle silver. There is no light pollution, no highway noise, airplane lights. Only the ranch, the pasture, the hills, and the immense bowl of sky pressing down with perfect, quiet love. You feel small, but not lonely, held, instead, the way a child feels held in a familiar lap. A soft breeze moves across the grass, carrying the scent of warm earth and distant rain. The windmill creaks once more, a friendly sound. Everything is peaceful. Everything is waiting. You take one slow breath of the cool, sweet air and let the stars settle over you like the softest blanket ever woven from night itself. Whatever tomorrow brings, tonight the Foster Ranch is simply home, and you are welcome here. Stay as long as you like. The stars are in no hurry. Neither are you. Mac Brazel steps out onto the porch just as the last color drains from the sky. He is 48, lean from honest work, face weathered the way good leather is weathered, soft, strong, kind. His hat is older than some of the fence posts, shaped by his own hands. He wears it pushed back tonight, letting the breeze move through his dark hair already touched with silver at the temples. He doesn't speak right away. He never does. Mac listens first, to the horses settling, to the windmill's slow turn, to the small sounds his sheep make when they know he knows are safe. There are about 2,000 of them scattered across the pastures, and though no one else could tell them apart, Mac can. He knows the ewe with the limp that still won't let him catch her, the black-faced ram who always leads the others to water, the orphan lamb he bottle-raised last spring and still answers when he whistles 2 low notes. He leans against the porch rail, rolling a cigarette with one hand the way only lifelong ranchers can. The match flares once, lighting his face in gentle orange. Calm eyes, a small smile that comes easy and stays long. He exhales smoke toward the stars, not because he needs it, but because it feels companionable, like sharing the evening with an old friend. Mac has lived on the Foster place for years, working for the Foster family who own it but rarely visit. He likes it that way. The quiet suits him. Mornings start before dawn and end when the stars come out, filled with small, necessary tasks. Fixing fence, checking water, moving sheep to fresh grass. He talks to them sometimes, low and steady, the same tone he used with his little girl before she grew up and moved to town. The sheep listen. They always have. He knows every arroyo, every cedar that offers shade, every place the coyotes like to cross. The land is part of him, and he is part of the land. No ownership, only belonging. When storms come, he feels them in his knees hours ahead. When the grass is sweet, he feels it in the sheep's coats. Tonight, he finishes the cigarette, taps it out carefully on the rail, and stands a moment longer. The Milky Way is bright enough to read by if you had a mind to. He doesn't. He only watches. Content. The way a man watches a fire he doesn't need to tend, because it already burns perfectly. Mac finally turns, boots soft on the worn porch boards, and heads inside. The screen door sighs shut behind him. A lamp glows warm through the window for a little while, then goes dark. The ranch settles deeper into night. Somewhere out in the pasture, his sheep sleep standing, trusting the quiet watch. And Mac, in his small room with the window cracked open, drifts off to the same stars that have watched over him all his life. Nothing is wrong. Nothing needs fixing. Everything, for now, is exactly as it should be. The first sign is a softness in the wind, a shift from warm to cool that strokes the back of your neck like a promise. Mac pauses on the porch, coffee cup halfway to his lips, and feels the change. Far to the west, over the Sacramento Mountains, a single cloud tower rises, pale and tall against the last indigo of evening. It grows slowly, gracefully, as though the sky itself is taking a deep, patient breath. Minutes pass in perfect quiet. Then the cloud lights from within, a gentle pulse of rose deep inside its heart. Another follows, brighter, turning the edges silver. Lightning forks silently downward, not angry, simply reaching, the way a hand reaches to touch water and see how cold it is. The flash is soundless at this distance, soft as a dream. More flashes come, steady and unhurried. The whole western horizon begins to breathe light, rose, violet, white, gold, each pulse revealing the cloud's vast shape for a heartbeat before night folds back in. Thunder arrives long afterward, a low, rolling murmur that travels across 30 miles of empty pasture like a friendly giant clearing his throat. Mac sets the cup down and walks to the edge of the porch, hands in pockets, hat tipped back. He has seen storms all his life, but this one feels different, bigger, almost ceremonial. The sheep lift their heads, ears twitching, then settle again. Even they sense no danger, only wonder. The lightning intensifies, stitching the sky with silent silver threads. For one long moment, the entire cloud lights at once. A silent explosion of pure white that turns night into noon for 3 full seconds. Every blade of grass, every cedar needle, every drop of dew on the fence wire stands out sharp and perfect. Then darkness returns, deeper than before, leaving ghost images dancing behind the eyes. The thunder that follows is deeper, longer, rolling across the plains like slow waves on an invisible sea. It vibrates gently in the chest, not frightening, simply present, the way a heartbeat is present. The air smells of ozone and distant rain, clean and electric. A cool gust sweeps the yard, lifting dust in lazy spirals. The temperature drops 10 degrees in a minute, delicious after the day's heat. Mac closes his eyes and breathes it in, smiling the small, private smile of a man who loves weather the way other men love music. The storm stays west, content to perform for the ranch rather than visit it. Lightning continues its silent ballet, painting the clouds from within, turning them into slow lanterns floating above the dark earth. The thunder grows softer, more distant, a lullaby now instead of conversation. Mac finally goes inside, leaving the door open so the storm can keep him company. The night air moves through the house, cool and sweet. The lightning flashes on, gentle, endless, patient. And the ranch sleeps beneath a sky that has decided to celebrate, quietly, beautifully, for no reason except that it can. The sun is barely up, a soft peach glow behind the hills, when Max saddles his horse and rides out to check the sheep. The storm has left the air washed clean, cool, and sweet. Grass steams faintly in the early light. Everything feels renewed, expectant. He follows the familiar trail north, past the windmill, past the low ridge where the best grass grows. The horse moves easy, hooves muffled in damp earth. Mac hums under his breath, low and tuneless, the way he does when the world and weather are in perfect agreement. Then the horse stops, not from fear, just curiosity. Ahead, the pasture glitters like someone scattered Christmas tinsel across the grass. Mac squints, nudges the horse forward. The closer he gets, the stranger it becomes. Pieces of lightweight metal foil, some no bigger than a playing card, some as large as a bedsheet, lie everywhere. They catch the dawn light and throw it back in soft silver flashes. Thin beams of what looks like balsa wood, but lighter, are scattered among them. Nothing is burned. Nothing is melted. No smoke. No smell of fire. Only this quiet, impossible glitter spread over acres. Mac dismounts, boots sinking slightly in the damp grass. He picks up a piece of foil. It is cool, smooth, almost weightless. When he crumples it in his fist, it springs back to perfect flatness. No crease, no memory of being bent. He tries another. Same thing. He smiles, puzzled but not afraid. The material feels friendly, almost playful. The beams are covered in strange markings, purple symbols that look like writing, but not any writing he has ever seen. They glow faintly when the sun touches them, then fade again. He runs a thumb across one. The surface is warm, like skin after a nap. There is no wreckage in the usual sense. No engine, no cockpit, no heavy parts. Only this gentle confetti of impossible metal and wood, spread as though something large simply came apart in the sky and drifted down like snow. Mac walks slowly through the field, horse following loose-reined. The sheep graze around the debris without concern, as though it has always been there. He gathers a few pieces in his saddlebag, not many, just enough to show the neighbors. The rest he leaves where they lie, sparkling softly in the rising sun. The morning is still perfect. Birds sing. The air smells of wet grass and distant cedar. Nothing feels wrong, only new. Max swings back into the saddle, tips his hat to the quiet field, and turns the horse toward home. Whatever fell from the sky last night did so gently, almost politely. And the pasture keeps the secret for now, glittering under the New Mexico dawn like a promise someone made long ago and only just remembered to keep. Back at the ranch house, Max spreads the pieces across the kitchen table in the soft morning light. The foil glimmers like moonlight trapped in metal. The thin beams rest beside it, light as kindling yet strong as steel. He handles them slowly, almost reverently, the way one handles something that might be a gift. He starts with a pocket knife. The blade slides across the foil without leaving a mark. He presses harder, still nothing. The metal simply accepts the pressure and forgets it. He tries the beams. Same result. The knife might as well be trying to carve water. Next, he takes a piece of foil to the stove, holds it directly in the blue flame of the kerosene burner. The flame licks around it, cheerful and hot. The foil stays cool. No smoke, no color change, no smell. After a full minute, he pulls it away. It is exactly as it was, shining softly as though the fire had only polished it. Mac chuckles under his breath, half amused, half puzzled. He has burned tin cans and old boots in that stove and never seen anything behave this way. He sets the foil down and watches it slowly uncrumple itself, returning to perfect flatness on the table like a lazy cat stretching after a nap. The beams are stranger still. The purple symbols etched along their length catch the lamplight and seem to move when he isn't looking directly at them, flowing like water under ice. When he runs a calloused thumb across one, the symbols brighten for a heartbeat, warm, almost answering. He pulls his hand away and the glow fades, gentle, patient, waiting. He tries a hammer next, tapping lightly at first, then harder. The beam rings with a clear, bell-like note that lingers in the quiet kitchen longer than it should. No dent, no splinter. The hammer might as well be tapping a dream. Max sits back in his chair, coffee cooling beside him. The dog rests its head on his knee, unbothered. Outside, the sheep call softly to one another across the pasture. Everything is peaceful. Nothing feels dangerous. Only deeply, calmly strange. He gathers a small bundle, a few sheets of the foil, 2 of the marked beams, a handful of rubber-like fragments that bounced when dropped. He wraps them in an old flour sack, ties it with twine, and sets it by the door. Tomorrow he'll drive into Corona, maybe Roswell, show the sheriff, see what folks think. It isn't urgency that moves him, only simple curiosity and the quiet sense that something this gentle and strong deserves to be shared. The sun climbs higher. The kitchen warms. The strange metal rests on the table, catching light, giving nothing away. Mac finishes his coffee, rinses the cup, and steps back onto the porch. The day is perfect again, but what he carries into town tomorrow will soon bring soldiers and silence. The next morning is bright and warm, the kind of July day that feels like the desert is smiling. Mac finishes chores early, gives the dog an extra scratch behind the ears, and climbs into his pickup with the flour sack bundle on the seat beside him. The strange metal inside makes no sound as the truck bounces over ruts. He takes the road slow, windows down, letting the breeze move through the cab. Dust rises in soft clouds behind him and settles again almost instantly. The debris field glitters in his rearview mirror for a mile or two, then disappears around a bend. He tips his hat to a neighbor fixing fence, gets a lazy wave in return. Everything is ordinary, comfortable, unhurried. Corona is barely a town. A few adobe houses, a gas station with one pump, the sheriff's office in the middle of everything. Mac parks in the shade of a cottonwood, picks up the bundle, and walks inside. The bell over the door gives its familiar single jingle. Sheriff George Wilcox is at his desk, boots propped up, reading yesterday's paper. He looks up, smiles the easy smile of men who have known each other all their lives. "Morning, Mac. Coffee's fresh if you want it." Mac sets the sack on the desk, unties the twine, and spreads a few pieces of foil and one of the marked beams across the blotter. "Found this out on the ranch after the storm. Thought you might know what it is." Wilcox leans forward, curious but calm. He picks up the foil, crumples it, watches it smooth itself out again, runs a thumb over the purple symbols, taps the beam with a pencil. Clear bell note rings out. Neither man speaks for a long moment. The only sound is the slow tick of the wall clock and the soft creak of Wilcox's chair. "Never seen anything like it," the sheriff says finally, voice low, almost wondering. light as a feather and tough as the devil. Mac nods. Tried to burn it, cut it, smash it. Won't take no for an answer. They look at each other, two old friends sharing a quiet puzzle on a quiet morning. No alarm, no rush. Just the gentle mystery sitting between them on the desk, catching the sunlight through the window. Wilcox reaches for the phone. Best to let the Army boys at Roswell Field take a look. They see all kinds of new things. Max settles into the spare chair, hat in his lap, content to wait. The coffee smells good. The fan turns lazy circles overhead. Outside, the little town dozes in the heat. A dog sleeps in the shade. Children's laughter drifts from somewhere down the street. Inside, the foil lies perfectly flat again, shining softly, waiting. Neither man knows yet that this small, sunlit moment is the last peaceful minute either of them will have for a very long time. But the desert morning is gentle, and it lets them enjoy it a little longer. Major Jesse Marcel hangs up the phone, adjusts his cap, and steps out into the bright Roswell sunlight. It is just past noon, the sky a perfect, cloudless blue. He finds Captain Sheridan Cavett in the motor pool, polishing the staff car out of habit more than need. Got a call from Sheriff Wilcox, Marcel says, voice easy. Rancher found something odd after the storm. Want to take a ride? Cavett grins. Better than paperwork. They leave the base in an unmarked sedan, windows down, ties loosened. The road west is smooth blacktop for a few miles, then grated dirt that kicks up only small puffs of dust. The air smells of warm pine from the hills and distant rain that never quite reach town. Marcel drives. Cavett rides shotgun, one arm out the window, fingers surfing the wind. They talk baseball, weather, the new baby Cavett's wife just had. Nothing urgent. The war is over. The world feels wide open again. Strange debris on a ranch is just another interesting detour on a slow Thursday. The drive takes an hour. They pass through Corona without stopping, wave at the same neighbor Mac waved at earlier. The Foster Ranch appears ahead, low buildings shimmering in heat haze, windmill turning lazy circles. Mac is waiting on the porch, hat in hand, dog at his feet. Marcel parks in the shade, steps out stretching. He is tall, calm-eyed, the kind of man who makes people feel things are under control simply by being there. Cavett follows, notebook ready but relaxed. They shake hands all around, accept offered coffee, listen while Mac tells the story again. Quiet, matter of fact, no embellishment. When Mac spreads the pieces on the porch table, both officers lean in without hurry. Marcel picks up the foil, crumples it, watches it return to shape. Cavett taps a beam. The clear note rings out. They exchange a glance, not alarm, only deep curiosity. Never seen anything like this, Marcel says softly, almost to himself. Mac nods. Tried everything on it. Won't burn, won't cut. The three men stand in the warm shade a moment longer, turning the strange metal and sunlight that feels suddenly brighter. The dog sighs and lies down. A horse nickers from the corral. Marcel finally straightens. Mind if we take a look at the field? Max swings into his truck. The officers follow in the sedan, dust clouds mingling like old friends. The day is still perfect. The pasture waits ahead, glittering quietly under the July sun. No one speaks of flying discs yet. No one needs to. The debris is enough, for now, to make three calm men feel the world has just tilted, gently, onto a new angle. And the desert, as always, keeps its own counsel. The trucks roll to a stop at the edge of the field, and the three men step out into warm grass, brushing their knees. What stretches before them is not wreckage in any usual sense. It is a gentle snowfall of silver and light covering 2 or 3 acres, glinting softly wherever the sun touches. Marcel walks forward first, boots quiet in the grass. The debris is everywhere. Sheets of foil no thicker than cigarette paper, yet strong as steel. Thin beams scattered like pickup sticks. Small chunks of dull black material that looks burned but isn't. Nothing heavy, nothing sharp. Everything light enough to blow in a breeze, yet lying perfectly still, as though the ground asked it to stay. He kneels, runs fingers over a piece of foil half buried in dirt. It lifts easily, weightless, shimmering. When he lets go, it settles back without sound. Cavett is already 20 yards away, notebook open, sketching silently, eyes wide but calm. Mac hangs back a little, letting the officers see for themselves. There is no crater, no scorch marks, no gouge in the earth. Only this quiet, impossible scattering, as though something large simply dissolved into confetti high above and drifted down like blessings. Marcel picks up a beam. The purple symbols catch the light and seem to breathe. He turns it slowly. The markings flow under his thumb, warm and alive. Cavett finds a piece of foil the size of a tablecloth, folds it into a tight ball, tosses it up. It opens in midair, floats down flat again, lands without a crease. They walk the field for an hour, speaking little. The sun is gentle, the breeze cool after the storm. Butterflies move among the grass, undisturbed. A meadowlark sings from a fence post, as though this is the most ordinary morning in the world. Marcel finally stops in the center, hands on hips, looking around. Whatever it was, he says quietly, it came apart real easy. No fire, no noise. Just let go. Mac nods. Sheep walked right through it. Didn't spook him a bit. Cavett closes his notebook. We'll need to bring trucks. The words are simple, practical, but all three men feel the shift. The field is too large, too strange, to remain a private curiosity. The army will want it cleaned up, studied, explained. Yet for this 1 hour, under the soft New Mexico sun, they are alone with the wonder. The debris glitters around them like a secret the sky decided to share and then changed its mind about telling. Marcel picks up one last piece of foil, folds it small, slips it into his shirt pocket next to his heart. The meadowlark sings again. The day stays perfect, and the desert, patient as always, waits for what comes next, eye in the cool shade of the barn. The three men lay the pieces across an old workbench worn smooth by years of honest use. Sunlight slants through the open doors, dust motes dancing lazily in the beams. The air smells of hay, horse, and something new, something faintly metallic and sweet, like rain on hot pavement that never quite fell. Marcel takes a sheet of foil larger than a road map, folds it again and again until it is a tight silver cube no bigger than a sugar lump. He sets it on the bench. They watch. Slowly, smoothly, the cube unfolds itself, layer by layer, returning to perfect flatness without crease or wrinkle. Cavett laughs once, soft and surprised. Mac just smiles the smile of a man who has already tried everything and still can't believe it. Cavett finds a heavier piece of the dull black material, rubbery, light. He twists it, bends it double, ties it in loose knot. The knot unties itself in his hands, the piece straightening as though offended by being bent. They try scissors, pliers, a cold chisel. Nothing leaves a mark. The material simply waits, impatient, then returns to its original shape with the calm certainty of water finding level. Marcel holds a beam up to the light. The purple symbols shimmer, rearrange themselves slightly when no one is looking directly at them. He presses a fingernail into the surface. The indentation fills in before he can remove his hand. The beam is warm, almost alive, humming at a pitch too low to hear, but easy to feel in the teeth. They work without hurry. The dog lies in the doorway, head on paws, watching with mild interest. A horse nickers from the corral, gets no answer, goes back to dozing. Time feels optional here in the barn's cool shade. Marcel folds a large sheet of foil into a paper airplane on a whim, tosses it gently toward the open door. It glides farther than it should, lands softly in the dust, then slowly, gracefully unfolds itself back into a flat sheet, as though saying thank you for the flight. The men look at each other. No one speaks the words yet, but they all feel them. This is not from any factory on Earth. Mac finally breaks the silence, voice low and wondering. Whatever it was, it didn't want to hurt nothing broken. Marcel nods, slipping another small piece into his pocket. Cavett closes his notebook again, this time with a softer expression. Outside, the sun climbs higher, warm and golden. Inside the barn, the impossible metal rests on the bench, waiting, remembering its own perfect shape. The day is still gentle. The mystery is only beginning. And the desert, as always, keeps the secret warm until it is ready to share. Back in Roswell, the afternoon is warm and slow. Walter Oates, the base public information officer, sits at his desk in the small office at the Roswell Army Airfield, window open to catch the breeze. The teletype has been quiet all day. The war is over. News is mostly weather and baseball scores. Colonel Blanchard stops by just after lunch, calm as always, and places a single sheet of paper in front of him. "We recovered a flying disc out on a ranch west of Corona," he says simply. "Write it up for the papers." Oates reads the note twice, raises an eyebrow, but asks no questions. He has seen stranger things come down from the skies during test flights. He types quickly, fingers sure on the old Underwood. RAF captures flying disc on ranch in vicinity of Roswell. The words feel almost playful. He smiles a little as he rolls the paper out, hands it to the colonel for approval. Blanchard nods once, signs it, tells him to send it to the radio stations and the Roswell Daily Record before close of business. By 4 o'clock, the teletype clatters to life in newsrooms across the state. Reporters read the release and do double takes. Phones start ringing. The Associated Press picks it up. Within hours, the story is moving across the wires. The Army has recovered a flying saucer. In the little Roswell office, the ceiling fan turns lazy circles. Oates lights a cigarette, leans back, watches dust dance in the sunbeam through the window. He feels no drama, only the quiet satisfaction of a job done well. The phrase "flying disc" feels right, light, curious, almost friendly. No one is panicking. No one is hiding. It is just a fact, released on a slow Tuesday in July. Across town, families gathered around radios hear the news between songs and smile or laugh or shake their heads in wonder. Children playing in backyards look up at the sky with new interest. Old men on porches nod knowingly. They always figured something was up there. The evening paper sells out in minutes. No one imagines retraction yet. No one imagines men in suits descending tomorrow with new orders. For this one golden afternoon, the truth is allowed to walk in daylight, wearing its own name proudly. Walter Oates locks the office at 5, steps into the warm evening air, and walks home under the same vast sky that watched the disk come down. He feels the gentle weight of history in his pocket, the carbon copy of the press release he kept for himself. The town settles into supper, windows open, radios still playing softly. Somewhere out on the Foster Ranch, Mac Brazel finishes chores without knowing his name is now on the front page of tomorrow's paper. The desert night falls gentle and complete. And for one brief, perfect moment, the world believes. The stars shine down, some moving, some still, as though smiling at the innocence of the day. Sleep comes easy tonight. Everything still feels possible. Everything still feels gentle. The phone rings just after midnight in Colonel Blanchard's quarters, sharp but not urgent. He listens for 3 minutes, says, "Yes, sir," twice, hangs up without expression. The house is dark, his wife asleep down the hall. He sits on the edge of the bed a moment, rubbing his eyes, then dresses quietly and drives back to the base. By 1 a.m. the base is awake, but hushed. Lights burn in offices that should be empty. Walter Ode is called from home, arrives still buttoning his shirt. A new press release is typed, calm and matter-of-fact. The object was a weather balloon with radar target. No flying disc involved. No one argues. Orders are orders. The original story is pulled from the wires as quickly as it went out. Newspapers are asked, politely, firmly, to print the correction. Reporters who push are met with gentle stonewalling and the quiet suggestion that national security is involved. At the Foster Ranch, Mac is woken by headlights in the yard. 2 officers in crisp uniforms ask him, kindly, to come with them for a few questions. He goes without protest, leaving the dog whining softly on the porch. The debris field is already being cleared by teams working under floodlights, pieces loaded into crates with the same care one uses for fragile glass. Back in town, radios fall silent on the subject. The Roswell Daily Record runs the balloon story on page 1 the next morning, right beside the original headline, now marked error. People read both versions over coffee, shrug, go back to their day. Children still look up at the sky, but now with a little less certainly. Marcel drives home at dawn, a small piece of foil still in his shirt pocket. He places it in a drawer, closes it gently, and does not open it again for 30 years. The phone call lasted 3 minutes. The silence it created lasted decades. Yet in the quiet hours before morning, a few people in Roswell wake from the same dream. A silver disk drifting down like a falling leaf, coming to rest without sound, without harm, only curiosity. They turn over, pull the sheet higher, and sleep again. The desert night returns to its patient watch. Stars glide across the sky, some moving, some still. The town breathes slow and deep. And the secret, so briefly named, slips back into the soft dark where it will wait, gentle and unchanged, until the world is ready to hear its real name again. For now, everything is calm. The cover-up is gentle too, in its way. Only a blanket pulled over a sleeping child so the light does not wake them too soon. Good night, Roswell. Good night, 1947. The stars keep the true story warm until morning. Sleep easy. The real wonder is only resting. 2 days after Mac's discovery, the desert opens another secret. Far north of Roswell, on the wide, empty plains of San Augustine, a soil conservation engineer named Grady Barney Barnett is driving his government Jeep along a lonely track, notices something glinting in the morning sun. He slows, curious, and turns off the road. The gouge is shallow and smooth, no more than 50 yards long, as though something large slid to a gentle stop rather than crashed. The sand around it is fused in soft ripples, like glass cooled too quickly. At the end of the slide rests a metallic disc, egg-shaped, perhaps 30 feet across, its silver skin dulled by dust, yet still catching light in quiet pulses. Barney steps out. The air is perfectly still, warm, smelling of sage and something faintly sweet, like crushed sage. No smoke, no fire, only silence so complete he hears his own heartbeat. Then he sees them, for small figures lie in the sand a few yards from the craft, arranged almost carefully, as though they lay down together to rest. They are no more than 4 feet tall, slender, hairless. Their skin is pale gray, almost pearl in the sunlight. Large heads, delicate limbs, hands with long, graceful fingers. They wear one-piece suits the color of moonlight, no seams, no buttons. Their eyes are closed, faces calm, almost smiling. Barney feels no fear, only a deep, sudden sadness, the kind that comes when you find a bird that flew into a window and didn't get up. He kneels, careful not to disturb the sand, and simply looks. The beings seem asleep rather than dead, breathing so shallow it might be imagination. He reaches out, then stops. Something tells him touch is not needed. They are beyond harm now, resting in a place no human has any right to disturb. A soft wind moves across the plains, lifting fine sand in gentle spirals. The craft gives off no heat, no sound, only a faint warmth that feels like standing near someone who loves you very much. Barney sits back on his heels, hat in his hands, and waits. He does not know what else to do. Time stretches. The sun climbs. The silence holds. Then, far off, he hears engines, military jeeps approaching fast. He stands slowly, heart heavy but calm. The desert has shown him something extraordinary gentleness, and he understands, without words, that the story is no longer his to tell alone. The vehicles arrive in a small cloud of dust. Soldiers step out, quiet, respectful. An officer nods to Barney, thanks him for waiting, asks him, kindly, to step back. The planes stay warm. The beings stay peaceful. And the second sight, like the first, begins its long journey into careful, gentle hands. The wind moves again, soft as breath. Everything, even sorrow, is handled with care. Barney stays kneeling longer than he means to. The sand is warm through his trousers, the sun gentle on the back of his neck. He has seen dead animals before, coyotes, cattle, once a horse struck by lightning, but nothing prepared him for this quiet. The 4 beings lie in a loose half-circle, as though they sat together and simply leaned back to watch the stars. Their faces are delicate, almost childlike, yet old in a way no human face ever looks. Skin smooth and gray, faintly luminous, like moonlight on still water. No wounds are visible, no blood, only peace so complete it feels sacred. He studies their hands, long fingers, no nails to speak of, resting palm up in the sand as though waiting for someone to take them. Their suits are soft, seamless, the color of dawn sky just before the sun appears. No zippers, no pockets, nothing that suggests tools or weapons. Only simple covering, gentle as pajamas. Their heads are larger than a child's, smooth, hairless, cradled by the sand as though the earth itself made pillows for them. Eyes closed, lashes dark against pale cheeks. Mouth small, slightly parted, almost smiling. Barney imagines, for a moment, that they are only sleeping, waiting for their mother to come carry them home. He feels tears rise without warning. Not fear, not disgust, only a deep, aching tenderness. The same feeling he once had watching his own daughter sleep after a long day of play. He wants to cover them with his jacket, shield them from the sun, but he does not move. Touch feels wrong. Reverence feels right. A soft breeze stirs the grass. One of the being's hands twitches, just slightly, as though dreaming. Barney's breath catches. For one impossible heartbeat, he believes they might wake, sit up, look at him with those large, dark eyes, and say thank you for waiting with us. But they do not wake. The desert holds them gently, the way it holds everything that falls, without judgment, without hurry. Barney removes his hat, holds it against his chest. He does not pray, exactly, but the feeling is close. Gratitude for being allowed to witness something so fragile, sorrow for whatever journey ended here, hope that wherever they came from, someone is waiting with open arms. He stays until the sound of engines grows close. Then he stands slowly, backs away a few respectful steps, and waits. The soldiers arrive quiet, almost hesitant. They see Barney, see the beings, and their faces soften in the same way his did. No one speaks loudly. No one rushes. The plains stay warm and wide and patient. And the gentle beings rest in the sand, small and perfect and heartbreaking, until careful hands come to carry them home. Barney will never forget their faces. Neither will the desert. Neither will you. The soldiers approach slowly, boots soft in the sand, as though entering a church. They form a loose circle around the four figures, rifles lowered, faces unreadable at first. Then one young private removes his helmet and simply stares. They are smaller than expected, no taller than a 6-year-old child, yet perfectly proportioned, limbs long and graceful. Skin pale gray, almost translucent, with a faint pearlescent sheen that shifts gently in sunlight, like the inside of a seashell. No hair anywhere. Head smooth, slightly larger, cradled by the sand as though the earth curved to hold them. Their eyes dominate the face, large, almond-shaped, closed now, but even shut they seem to hold starlight. Lashes long and dark against pale cheeks. Noses small, mouths delicate, lips slightly parted in what might be the faintest smile. No fear is frozen there. Only calm acceptance, the look of someone who fell asleep on a long, long way from home and is not afraid. Hands rest palm up, fingers relaxed, for on each, no thumbs quite like ours but graceful, expressive. The suits they wear are one piece, soft metallic fabric that seems to breathe with them, colors shifting from silver to pale blue as clouds pass overhead. No tears in the fabric, only small scuffs, as though they landed gently and simply stepped out to wait. A medic kneels, careful not to disturb the sand. He checks for pulse out of habit, finds none, yet does not say dead. He says, quietly, "They're gone." His voice cracks on the last word. Another soldier wipes his eyes without shame. They are beautiful in a way no human child is beautiful. Perfect symmetry, skin without blemish, features so refined they seem drawn by an artist who understood kindness before form. Even the officers, used to war's wreckage, speak in whispers. One compares them to porcelain dolls, but warmer. Another to angels who forgot their wings. No one takes photographs yet. The moment feels too private. They simply look, letting the stillness settle over them like a blanket. A sergeant removes his jacket and lays it nearby, not covering them, only offering, the way one offers a coat to someone cold. The beings lie in a loose square, facing inward, as though they held hands at the end. Between them, in the sand, someone later swears there was a small crystal that pulsed once, softly, then dimmed when human hands came close. The medic closes his notebook without writing anything down. There are no words for this kind of gentleness. The desert holds its breath with them, and every man there, hardened by war and desert and loneliness, feels something inside soften forever. They were not monsters. They were only small, tired travelers who ran out of sky, and the earth received them with the way it receives everything sacred, quietly, completely, tenderly. The first jeep arrives within 30 minutes of Barney's radio call, then another, then a covered truck. Soldiers step out in perfect quiet, boots barely raising dust. An officer, tall, soft-spoken, eyes kind behind sunglasses, approaches Barney with his hand extended, not in salute but in greeting. "Sir, we'll take it from here. Thank you for waiting." No shouting, no drawn weapons, only calm efficiency wrapped in respect. Barney nods, understanding without being told that the moment has passed from his hands into others. He is offered water, a ride back to his vehicle, a quiet thank you for his cooperation. The officer's voice is gentle, almost apologetic. By the time more trucks roll in, a perimeter has formed. Loose, almost casual, yet complete. Men in crisp uniforms move with practiced care, setting up canvas screens not to hide horror, but to protect privacy. Radios speak in low murmurs. Notebooks open, close, open again. Barney is driven away before the screens are fully up. He looks back once. The beings are no longer visible, only the soft rise and fall of canvas in the breeze. Other civilians arrive over the next hours, an archaeology team, a rancher checking fences, each met at the edge by the same calm soldiers, same gentle explanations. "Training accident, sir. Nothing to see. Appreciate your understanding." Most nod, turn around, tell no one. A few are escorted a little farther, shown the disc from a distance, then asked, politely, to forget. No one is threatened. No one is roughed up. The soldiers' faces show the same quiet sorrow the officers felt. They are not hiding monsters. They are protecting something too fragile for the world yet. Barney reaches his jeep, starts the engine, drives away without hurry. In the rearview mirror, the sight shrinks to a small cluster of khaki figures moving like mourners at a funeral no one was invited to attend. Dust rises, settles. The planes swallow everything again. He will tell his wife that night, in the quiet of their kitchen, voice low so the children won't hear. She will listen, nod, hold his hand. They will never speak of it outside the house again. Not from fear, from reverence. Years later, when he finally tells a researcher, his voice is still soft, still wondering. "They weren't scary," he says. "They were just little and lost." The soldiers kept their silence gently. The desert kept its silence perfectly, and the beings were carried away with the same care one carries sleeping children from a car at the end of a long journey. No one who saw them that day ever raised their voice about it. Some secrets are too tender for shouting. The planes remember. The wind moves across the sand, soft as breath, and the story waits, patient and kind, for a gentler time. The sun is higher now, but the air stays gentle, almost hushed. For canvas stretchers are unfolded beside the disc, olive drab fabric soft from years of use. Soldiers remove their hats without being told. No one speaks above a whisper. Two men approach the first being, kneeling as though entering a sanctuary. They slide gloved hands beneath the small form. Light, so light, lifting with the care one uses for a sleeping infant. The body settles onto the stretcher without jolt or sound. Another pair does the same for the second, then the third, then the fourth. Movement slow, coordinated, reverent. A sergeant spreads a clean tarp over each stretcher, not to conceal, but to shade. The fabric settles like a blanket tucked by a loving parent. Only the faintest outline remains visible beneath, small, peaceful, perfect. The soldiers pause. One young private reaches out, then stops, hand hovering. Another places his helmet over his heart. No orders are needed. They simply wait, giving the desert a moment to say goodbye. A soft breeze moves the grass. Somewhere a meadowlark sings once, clear and sweet. The tarps lift slightly with the wind, then settle again. When they lift the stretchers, they do so together, in one smooth motion, carrying them toward the waiting truck as though bearing pallbearers at the quietest funeral the world has never attended. Boots sink gently into sand. No one hurries. The disc behind them gleams once, softly, then dims, as though closing its eyes. The truck bed has been lined with blankets. The stretchers are placed side by side, not stacked, not rushed. A medic checks each tarp, tucks a corner more securely, his hands shaking only a little. Another soldier removes a small wildflower from his pocket, picked earlier on the drive, and lays it on the closest stretcher. No one comments. No one needs to. The tailgate closes with the softest click. Engines start, low and respectful. The convoy pulls away slowly, raising almost no dust. The planes watch in silence. Back at the site, the remaining team folds the screens, smooths the sand, leaves no trace except 4 shallow impressions that the wind will erase by evening. By sunset, the gouge is only a memory, the disc gone. The beings traveling south in quiet convoy toward Roswell under the same gentle sun that warmed them when they were alive. No one who carried those stretchers ever forgot the weight, or the lack of it. They were carrying children of the stars home, and they did it the only way they knew how, with the same tenderness they would have shown their own. The desert accepted the gift of their care. The sky accepted the gift of their silence. And the beings slept on, peaceful, held in human arms that finally understood gentleness. Good night, little ones. You are safe now. The journey continues, softly. It is late evening when the call comes to the nurse's station. Report to the East Wing. Bring gloves, no questions. The young nurse, barely 22, fresh-faced, gentle by nature, walks the long corridor alone, shoes soft on linoleum. The hall is dim, quiet, smelling of antiseptic and something sweeter, almost floral. 2 MPs stand outside a side door, nod her through without a word. Inside, the room is cooler, lights low and rose-colored. 3 gurneys wait in a row, each covered to the chin with clean white sheets. A doctor she does not recognize, voice soft, asks her to assist with pediatric cases, very fragile. He pulls back the first sheet. She sees the face and forgets to breathe. Small, delicate, gray-skinned, large closed eyes, expression utterly peaceful. Not monstrous, only heartbreakingly beautiful, like a child made of moonlight. Skin cool, but not cold, faintly luminous. No injuries visible. The being might be sleeping. The doctor works quickly but gently, taking small samples, speaking in whispers. They're gone, he says, not dead, gone. We're trying to understand. The nurse's hands do not shake. Something in the room will not allow fear. Only tears, quiet, steady, unexplained. She adjusts a sheet, tucks it with the same care she uses for human infants in the maternity ward. The fabric settles over the small form like a lullaby. She moves to the second gurney, then the third, then the fourth. Each face is identical, yet unique, peaceful, wise, ancient in a way that makes her feel very young and very old at once. When she brushes a strand of sheet away from one closed eye, the skin is soft as a baby's, warm with some lingering light. No one speaks loudly. No machines beep. Only the soft rustle of fabric and the quiet breathing of the living. Afterward, in a small office lit by one lamp, an officer thanks her, voice kind, eyes tired. "This never happened," he says, not a threat, only a request. "For their sake." She nods, signs the paper, keeps the secret for 37 years. She will tell only once, decades later, voice cracking. "They looked like little angels who got tired. I just wanted to sing them to sleep." The memory never fades. The faces stay with her, calm, luminous, patient. Some nights, she wakes with tears on her cheeks and the certain feeling that someone, somewhere, is still singing that lullaby in a language of pure kindness. She smiles in the dark, pulls the covers higher, and sleeps again. The beings are still resting. The nurse is still watching over them, gently, from very far away. And the desert night holds both memories with the same endless tenderness. Good night, gentle souls. Your song is still being sung. Sleep deep. You are loved. The sun rises soft and golden over Fort Worth on July 9th, 1947. In a small briefing room at the 8th Air Force Headquarters, General Roger Ramey stands before a handful of reporters, a rumpled radar target of balsa wood and silver foil spread across his office floor like yesterday's laundry. He smiles the tired smile of a man who has been up all night on the phone with Washington. "Gentlemen," he says, voice calm and kind, "what we had was a simple weather balloon with a radar reflector. Nothing more exciting than that." Major Jesse Marcel, standing quietly beside him, nods on cue. The foil in his pocket stays hidden. The piece that unfolded itself in the barn stays folded in his memory. He keeps his face neutral, eyes gentle, the way airmen who flew through hell in Europe and came home to raise families. A photographer snaps the famous picture, Marcel kneeling beside the torn target, Ramey pointing at it with a fatherly expression that says, "See? Nothing to worry about." The flashbulbs pop. The reporters chuckle. Someone makes a joke about saucers being the next big kitchen fad. Everyone laughs politely. The story is rewritten before lunch. Newspapers run the correction beside the original headline, the word error in small, apologetic type. Radio announcers read the new version with the same calm voices they use for crop reports. The world exhales, relieved. Flying discs were fun while they lasted, but weather balloons make sense. Back in Roswell, Colonel Blanchard signs off on the retraction without comment. Walter Oat folds the carbon copy of the first release and slips it into a drawer. The town wakes to the new story over coffee and eggs, shrugs, goes about its day. Children still look up, but now with the gentle disappointment of a magic trick explained too soon. No one is angry. No one feels lied to. The reversal is delivered with the same soft touch the desert uses when it covers footprints with wind-blown sand. Quiet, inevitable, almost loving. By evening, the excitement has folded itself away as neatly as the foil in Marcel's pocket. Housewives discuss grocery prices. Ranchers mend fence. The base returns to ordinary routine. Only a few people, those who held the real foil, who saw the real bodies, carry a small, warm weight in the chest where the truth still rests, patient and uncomplaining. The weather balloon story spreads across the nation like a lullaby, and the world, still tired from war, accepts the comfort of ordinary answers. The desert smiles its slow, secret smile. Stars rise again, some moving, some still. Everything is calm. Everything is, for now, officially, nothing to see. Sleep comes easy tonight. The blanket of the news story is soft and warm. Good night, 1947. Good night. They come in the evening, always two at a time, driving unmarked sedans the color of dust. Knock 3 times, soft, polite. When the door opens, they remove their hats, smile the small, tired smile of men who do not enjoy their job tonight. Evening, ma'am. May we speak with your husband for a moment? They sit in the living room, accept coffee they do not drink, speak in calm, measured voices that never rise. We understand you saw something unusual out on the plains. We're here to thank you for your discretion. No shouting, no finger pointing, only quiet facts delivered like bedtime reminders. The material is part of a classified project. Talking about it could endanger lives, including your children's. They show photographs sometimes, smiling school portraits lifted from mantles, or a family car with today's date visible in the background. Not to frighten, only to show they care about the same things you do. A wife is told, gently, your husband is a good man. We'd hate for loose talk to cost him his pension, or worse. The officer's eyes are sad, almost pleading. They lay a hand on a shoulder, light as a blessing. This will all be over soon. Just a few years. Then you can tell your grandchildren anything you like. Some cry, some nod. All agree. Mac Brazel listens on his porch, hat in hands, while an officer explains that his sheep will be fine, his ranch will be fine, everything will be fine if he simply forgets the details. The officer's voice is soft, almost fatherly. Mac signs the paper without reading every line. He trusts the tone more than the words. Children who saw soldiers carrying covered stretchers are visited at school. A kind man in a suit brings candy, asks them to draw pictures of balloons instead of little men. They do happily. Their mothers are thanked with flowers. No one is dragged away. No one disappears in the night. Only quiet conversations in lamplight, cups of coffee cooling untouched, promises made with sorrowful sincerity. By the end of the week, every witness has been visited, spoken to, comforted, and cautioned in the same gentle way. The town does not feel terrorized. It feels protected. The secret is folded away with the same tenderness one folds a child's favorite blanket when it is time to grow up. Years later, when memories surface, the witnesses will remember not anger, but the soft voices and sad eyes of men who seemed to carry a heavier burden than their own. The threats were never loud. They were loving, and that, somehow, made them impossible to break. Good night, witnesses. Your silence was a gift. The desert thanks you. Sleep gently. Mac is driven to the base in the late afternoon, polite hands helping him into the back seat like an honored uncle. No handcuffs, no blindfold, only quiet conversation about sheep prices and the chance of rain. He is given a small room with a real bed, clean sheets, a window that looks onto the parade ground. Meals arrive on trays. Roast beef, mashed potatoes, pie. Better food than he's had in months. Officers visit daily, always courteous, always calm. They show him the radar target laid out in the hangar. Let him handle the foil and balsa wood. Watch it tear and stay torn. See, Mac? Just a balloon. Happens all the time. He nods slowly. The pieces in the hangar are not the pieces from his pasture, but he knows that. But the officers' voices are gentle, their eyes tired. They speak of duty, of not wanting to worry folks, of letting the army handle its own messes. They drive him around the base, show him new planes, let him sit in a cockpit for a photograph. They buy him new clothes, give him $20 for your trouble. Every evening they sit on the porch of the guest house, smoke together, watch the sunset paint the Sacramento's pink. 7 days feels like a vacation. On the last night, an officer, gray at the temples, voice soft as flannel, sits beside him. Mac, you're a good man. We'd take it kindly if this stayed between us. For the country, for your neighbors, for your own peace of mind. Mac looks at the stars a long time, then nods once. They drive him home at dawn. The dog greets him like he's been gone years. The sheep barely glance up. When neighbors ask, Mac says only, "It was a weather balloon. Nothing to it." His voice is the same easy drawl, but something behind the eyes has gone quiet, folded away like the real foil in a secret drawer. He never speaks of the debris again. Not to his wife, not to his son, not even on his deathbed. People say he seemed lighter afterward, almost relieved. The weight of wonder had been gently lifted and replaced with the familiar weight of silence. He tends his sheep, fixes fence, watches storms roll in from the west exactly as before. Only sometimes, on the clearest nights, he steps outside, looks up at the Milky Way, and smiles a small, private smile. The desert keeps his real story. The stars keep his real wonder. And Mac keeps the gentlest silence the world has ever known. Good night, Mac. Your secret is safe. The pasture still remembers. Sleep easy. When the moon is down and the desert is coolest, the trucks return. Unmarked, lights off, tires wrapped in burlap to muffle sound. They move like ghosts across the pastures, stopping where the debris fell, where the disk slid to rest. Men in plain coveralls step out. No rank, no patches. They carry red-filtered flashlights that barely disturb the dark. They work on hands and knees, sifting sand through gloved fingers, placing every tiny fragment in soft cloth bags. No voices above a whisper. No radios. Only the soft scrape of trowels and the occasional quiet, "Got one," passed along the line. At the Foster Ranch they cover acres, moving in slow grids, finding pieces no larger than a fingernail that still refuse to burn or bend. At the plains of San Agustin they search the gouge and surrounding sand, gathering dust that once was part of a hull, grains that glow faintly when cupped in the palm. They miss nothing. A shard wedged in a cow skull, a thread of foil caught in sagebrush, a symbol-covered splinter driven into the earth like a seed. Everything is collected with the care of archaeologists uncovering a sacred tomb. The sheep watch from a distance, unbothered. Coyotes stay away. Even the wind seems to cooperate, holding its breath so dust does not rise. When a bag is full, it is sealed, labeled in soft pencil, carried to the truck bed lined with blankets. No clanking, no haste. The men move as though handling sleeping infants made of starlight. Some nights they work until the stars fade, then cover their traces with brooms made of grass. By sunrise the sights look untouched, only smoother, as though the desert itself helped hide what fell. One soldier, young, still new to the detail, finds a piece of foil fluttering like a trapped moth. He cups it gently. It unfolds in his palm, perfect again. Tears come without warning. An older hand rests on his shoulder, steady, kind. They place the foil in its bag together. No one talks about what they are cleaning. They only know it matters, the way silence matters after a lullaby. Week after week, the crews return, until even the sand forgets it was ever disturbed. Then the trucks stop coming. The desert exhales, long and slow. The debris is gone, carried away in quiet hands. Only the memory remains, folded as neatly as the foil that would not stay bent. The stars keep watch. The night keeps its counsel. And the pasture sleeps again, innocent and vast, holding the secret like a mother holds a child's first secret. Close, warm, forever. Good night, cleanup crews. Your care was seen. Your silence was kind. Rest now. The desert thanks you. The move happens just after midnight, when Roswell is deepest asleep. 3 covered trucks, no markings, no lights except faint red tails, roll out from the temporary hangar in perfect silence. Engines idle low, almost a purr. Tires are soft, new, chosen for quiet. Inside the lead truck, the disc rests on a cradle of blankets and foam, wrapped in canvas so soft it might be a christening gown. The 4 stretchers ride in the second truck, side by side, tarps tucked with care. The third carries crates of debris packed in cotton, each piece labeled, cradled, loved. Guards ride in open jeeps fore and aft, rifles across laps, but fingers nowhere near triggers. Their faces are calm, almost sorrowful in the dashboard glow. No one smokes. No one speaks. The convoy moves at 30 miles an hour, slow enough that a child waking for water would only hear a gentle rumble and fall back asleep. They take back roads, avoiding the main highway, headlights off, guided by moonlight and memory. The desert night wraps around them like a blanket. An owl flies alongside for a mile, then veers away without sound. At the base, Hangar 84 waits, doors already open, interior lit soft blue, cooler than the night air. The trucks back in one by one. Soldiers unload with the same reverence they showed in the field, stretchers carried by 4 men each, disc guided on silent dollies. Inside, the vast space feels like a cathedral built for something older than cathedrals. The disc is placed in the center, tarps removed slowly, revealing its gentle curves catching the blue light like water catching moon. The beings are moved to a side room, sheets changed for clean ones, arranged as though for a long, peaceful rest. No photographs, no measurements yet, only quiet hands and quieter hearts. When everything is placed, the guards step back, remove their helmets, stand a moment in silence. One older sergeant touches 2 fingers to his forehead in a small, private salute. Then the doors close, soft as breath, and the hangar dims to a single nightlight glow. Outside, the convoy disperses into the dark, tires whispering farewell. By dawn the trucks are washed, parked, forgotten. The town wakes to ordinary birdsong and coffee smells. No one saw the journey. No one needed to. The desert carried its children home in the gentlest way it knew. Slowly, silently, under the same stars that watched them fall. And Hangar 84 keeps watch now, patient and warm, the way a nursery keeps watch over sleeping infants who may never wake. The guards will stand post for years, speaking little, remembering much. Their vigilance is not fear. It is love wearing a uniform. Good night, convoy. Good night, careful hands. The little ones are safe. The disc is dreaming. All is quiet. All is held. Sleep. By the end of that week, Roswell looks exactly like it did the week before. Children ride bicycles down Main Street. The soda fountain serves cherry cokes with 2 straws. The movie theater advertises a new Western. No one stands on corners shouting about saucers. No one marches with signs. Yet something has changed, soft as morning mist. Neighbors meet at the post office and talk about rain instead of wreckage. A rancher who saw the cordon discusses cattle prices with the same man who helped load stretchers the night before. They nod, smile, move on. Wives trade recipes while their husbands carry the same secret in their chests like smooth stones warmed by years of holding. At the base, soldiers salute and drill and eat peach cobbler in the mess hall, eyes calm. When a reporter from Albuquerque calls, the switchboard operator says sweetly, "Nothing more to tell, hon. Just a balloon." She hangs up, smooths her hair, goes back to filing nails. The Roswell Daily Record runs a small follow-up. All's quiet after balloon recovery. The editor signs off on it without comment. Everyone understands. In the evenings, families sit on porches, watching fireflies and the first stars. Conversation drifts to school starting soon, to the county fair, to whether the Dodgers will win the pennant. No one mentions the foil that returned to shape or the small faces under tarps. The silence is not forced. It is chosen, the way one chooses not to wake a sleeping child. Some nights a few old friends gather at the back of the hardware store, share a quiet beer, speak in half sentences about what they saw. They never write it down. They never argue. They only nod, eyes soft, remembering the gentleness more than the mystery. Children grow up hearing whispers, then learning the whispers are not for sharing. They carry the story in their bones the way they carry the smell of cedar smoke and their grandmother's hugs. Deep, wordless, true. The town learns to look away, not from shame, but from love. The secret is too large, too fragile, for ordinary daylight. Better to let it rest in the warm dark where it belongs, watched over by people who understand tenderness better than headlines. Years pass. The balloon story becomes the only story anyone tells outsiders. But every July, when the air smells of warm grass and distant thunder, a few older residents step outside a little later, look north toward the plains, and smile the same small, private smile Mac wore until the day he died. They do not need proof. They were there when the sky opened, gently, just for them. And they have kept the promise ever since. Good night, Roswell. Your silence was the kindest sound the desert ever heard. The stars remember. You can sleep now. Everything is still gentle. Everything is still true. In the quiet of his Louisiana home in 1978, Jesse Marcel sits at a small kitchen table, coffee cooling beside him. He is 71, hair white, hands steady. A young researcher named Stanton Friedman sits across from him, notebook open, tape recorder turning softly. Jesse speaks the way he always speaks, slow, calm, almost shy. I handled the real stuff. It wasn't any balloon. He describes the foil that unfolded itself, the beams with purple symbols, the piece he brought home and hid in a water heater closet for years. His voice never rises. His eyes stay gentle, the same eyes that looked at the debris field in 1947 and felt wonder instead of fear. He is not angry at General Ramey. He is not bitter about the press conference photo that branded him a fool. He only wishes, quietly, that he had kept one small piece to show his son, to prove he was telling the truth all along. When asked why he stayed silent for 30 years, he answers simply, "I gave my word." The regret is soft, like everything about Jesse. He regrets the world missed its chance to grow up a little faster. He regrets the beings were treated as specimens instead of guests. Mostly he regrets the gentle truth had to be hidden behind a torn radar target and a polite lie. Yet he never raises his voice. He never sells his story. He only speaks when asked, and always with the same kindness he showed the debris that night in the barn. In his last interviews, he looks straight into the camera and says, "I know what I held. It was not from this earth. And that's all right. They meant us no harm." He dies in 1986, peaceful, surrounded by family. On his bedside table is a small, smooth piece of metal he kept after all, foil that still refuses to stay crumpled, resting in a velvet box like a love letter never mailed. His son Jesse Jr. holds it after the funeral, feels it warm in his palm, unfold itself, and understands everything his father never needed to say out loud. The regret was never about being believed. It was about the world not being gentle enough, yet, to hold the gift it was given. Jesse Marcel sleeps now under Louisiana stars that look almost, but not quite, like the ones over Roswell in 1947. He is not sad anymore. The truth is patient. It waited for him. It waits for all of us. Good night, Major. Your hands were the first kind ones they touched. They remember. They were small enough to hide and quiet enough to stay hidden. A girl behind the chicken coop. A boy in the hayloft. Two brothers crouched under the porch. All of them 8, 9, 10 years old in that hot July of 1947. Eyes wide. Hearts calm because children trust the world until it teaches them not to. They saw the soldiers arrive in long lines of trucks, moving like they were carrying sleeping babies instead of crates. They saw the stretchers under tarps, saw the careful way strong men lifted them, faces gentle instead of stern. One little girl swears she saw a small gray hand slip from under a tarp, fingers curled like a sleeping kitten, before a soldier tucked it back with the tenderness of a father. They heard whispers, not shouts. "Easy, easy, watch the head. She's lighter than my daughter." The children did not understand death yet, only that something very special was happening and the grown-ups were trying not to wake it. Their mothers found them later, dusty, silent, eyes too bright. "What did you see, honey?" "Nothing, Mama." And they meant it. Nothing they had words for. The memory went into the same mental box as Santa Claus and fireflies and the smell of their grandmother's kitchen, real, magical, private. They grew up, married, had children who asked about Roswell, and got the balloon story with a wink. They smiled, changed the subject, kept the promise they never spoke aloud. Only when hair turned gray and knees grew stiff did the box open. A woman in her 80s tells her granddaughter, voice soft as the desert wind, "I saw them carry the little people. They were so careful, like they were carrying angels." An old man on his porch in Albuquerque shows a faded drawing he made at 9. For small figures with large eyes, soldiers with gentle faces, hearts drawn in red crayon over every chest. They cry, not from fear remembered, but from love finally allowed to speak. No one calls them crazy. Their children listen, eyes wet, understanding at last why Grandpa always looked at the stars with that certain way. The children who hid and watched are grandparents now. They kept the secret gently, the way the soldiers kept the beings. And when they finally tell, it is not to convince. It is to pass the wonder forward, soft as a lullaby, to the next pair of wide, trusting eyes. Good night, children of 1947. You kept the promise. The little ones thank you. Sleep sweet. The stars you watched are still there. Some moving, some still, all remembering. Glenn Dennis is 22, soft-spoken, kind to every grieving family who walks through his funeral home door. On July 7th, 1947, the phone rings twice with the same calm question from the base. How many child-sized coffins can you have ready, hermetically sealed? And what preserves bodies best in desert heat? He answers politely, curious but not alarmed. The voice thanks him, hangs up. An hour later, the same voice calls again. Same questions, softer, almost embarrassed. That evening, a nurse he knows, pretty, red-haired, always laughing, comes to him shaking. They sit in the back room among the quiet caskets. She smells of antiseptic and fear. I saw them, she whispers. 3 little bodies. Not children, not human. Big eyes, gray skin, so peaceful. The doctors were cutting, she cannot finish. Tears come fast, but they are not from horror. They are from love. She describes the smell, sweet, like ozone and flowers. The way the beings looked like porcelain dolls made of starlight. The doctors worked in silence, faces pale, hands gentle even in autopsy. One doctor cried openly. Then her voice breaks completely. They told us if we ever speak, they'll say we're crazy. Or worse. Glenn holds her hand, promises silence. They sit until the shaking stops. 2 days later, she is gone. Transferred overnight, no forwarding address, personnel file empty. Her apartment is cleaned out, rent paid for a year in advance. Friends receive postcards from Alaska in handwriting that isn't hers. Glenn keeps the promise for 40 years. Only in 1989, voice gentle as ever, does he tell the story to researchers. He never names her, protects her still. He only says, she was the sweetest girl who loved everybody. And they scared her so bad she disappeared. He dies in 2015, still calm, still kind. On his desk is a small silver locket he was given in 1947, never opened in public. Inside, those who saw after he was gone found a single strand of red hair and a folded note in a woman's handwriting. Thank you for being gentle. They were too. The nurse's name is lost. Her love is not. The desert keeps her story the way it keeps every tender thing. Folded close, warm, waiting for the right hearts to hear it. Good night, sweet nurse. Good night, Glenn. Your kindness reached farther than their fear. The little ones remember your tears. They were tears of welcome. Sleep soft. His name was Daniel Ruiz, 25, newly married. The kind of man who cried at weddings and carried kittens out of burning buildings. On a quiet night in July 1947, he gets the call. Report to Hangar 84, no siren, no lights. He arrives to find the huge doors open just cracked, soft blue light spilling out like moonlight through a keyhole. Inside, soldiers move with the slowness of priests. For large wooden crates wait on dollies, each the size of a child's coffin, but heavier, much heavier. An officer, voice low, eyes tired, asks the fireman to help load them onto a flatbed. No questions, just care. Daniel lifts one corner with another man. The crate is warm, almost alive, vibrating with a hum too low to hear, but easy to feel in the sternum. Something inside shifts slightly, not struggling, settling, like a sleeper turning over. They wrap straps gently, as though the wood might bruise. When all 4 crates are secured under canvas, the officer thanks them, voice cracking just slightly. You did good, son. Real good. Daniel drives home through empty streets, hands still tingling. His wife is asleep. He does not wake her. He sits on the porch until dawn, replaying the warmth, the hum, the way the soldiers looked at the crates like they were carrying their own children. He never tells anyone for 30 years. Only when his grandchildren ask about Roswell does he speak. voice soft, eyes distant. I carried something that wasn't from here. Not debris. Somebody. They were so careful with it. Like it was holy. He shows them his old fireman's badge, polished bright, and the small scar on his palm where a splinter from the crate drew blood that glowed faintly blue for a second before fading. His granddaughter asks if he was scared. He smiles the slow, gentle smile of a man who has carried wonder instead of fear all his life. No, Mija. I felt blessed, like I got to help tuck someone in for a very long sleep. Daniel passes in his 90s, peaceful, surrounded by family. On his nightstand is the same badge and a single sheet of the strange foil someone slipped into his pocket that night. Still perfect, still waiting to be unfolded. The crates reached their destination long ago, but the warmth Daniel felt never left his hands. It lives now in his children's children, in every gentle touch they give the world. Good night, Daniel. The little ones felt your care. They are sleeping soundly because of men like you. Thank you. Frankie Rowe is 12 this summer. Everything changes, all freckles and curiosity, helping her mother hang laundry in the warm Roswell sun. One evening her father, Dan, the fireman, comes home later than usual, face calm but eyes different, as though he has seen the inside of a church no one else knows exists. He calls her into the kitchen, closes the door soft so her siblings won't hear. From his pocket he takes a piece of metal no larger than a silver dollar, yet it moves like quicksilver, flowing across his palm. Hold out your hand, pumpkin. She does. He places it on her small palm. It is warm, alive, lighter than a feather yet solid. When she closes her fingers it flows between them like cool syrup, then gathers itself again, smooth, perfect, seamless. She turns it over, no edges, no weight, only a faint glow that matches her heartbeat. Her father watches, smiling the smile of a man sharing the best secret in the world. It came from the sky, he says quietly. Fell with some friends. They're taking care of them now. Frankie feels no fear, only wonder so pure it feels like flying in a dream. The metal pulses once, gently, as though saying hello. She laughs, delighted, and it ripples like water laughing with her. Then headlights sweep the window. Her father's face changes, not scared, only careful. He takes the piece back, kisses her forehead. Never tell, okay? Not till you're old and the world is kinder. She nods, solemn, keeps the promise for 56 years. Only when her hair is white and her grandchildren beg for stories does she speak, voice soft as the metal felt. I held a piece of a star, she says, eyes shining. It knew my name. She dies peacefully at 92, smiling in her sleep. Her family finds the promise written on a scrap of paper in her Bible. When they come back, tell them Frankie said thank you for letting me hold the light. The desert keeps that promise too. It keeps all gentle promises. The metal is somewhere still, waiting, warm, remembering the small hand that held it without fear. Good night, Frankie. You were the first child they trusted with their light. They never forgot your laughter. It is still traveling outward, soft and bright, looking for home. Sleep, sweet girl. The stars are singing your name tonight. The confessions come at the edge of leaving, when pain has softened and fear has lost its grip. An old woman in Albuquerque clutches her daughter's hand and whispers. The little bodies, they looked like sleeping angels. The soldiers cried. I never told because they asked me not to. But they were beautiful. A retired sergeant in Florida tells his son about the crates that hummed, about the officer who saluted them as though saluted fallen comrades. We weren't hiding a threat. he says, voice papery but sure. We were protecting something too gentle for the world then. In a hospice in Tucson, an elderly nurse speaks of the sweet smell in the autopsy room, of beings who seemed to smile even in stillness. I sang to them, she says, smiling through tears. I think they heard me. One by one they speak, always gently, always with wonder rather than anger. No bitterness for the silence forced on them. Only relief that the story can finally breathe. Families gather around beds, holding hands that once held impossible metal, listening to voices that shake only with age, not doubt. Grandchildren record on phones, not for proof, but for love. A former MP in Ohio tells his wife of 40 years about the night he guarded Hangar 84 and felt watched by kindness, not menace. They trusted us, he says. I never broke that trust until now. Forgive me. The confessions are never loud. They are lullabies told backward, stories finally allowed to rest in open air. Some ask for windows opened so they can see the stars one last time. Some smile at empty corners as though greeted by small, gray figures only they can see. Many fall asleep mid-sentence, peaceful, as though the beings came personally to collect them. No deathbed story is ever the same, yet all carry the same note. Gentleness, wonder, sorrow that we were not ready, gratitude that we might be soon. The families do not argue or doubt. They only listen, cry not. They understand now why Grandpa kept that piece of foil in a velvet box, why Grandma hummed a melody no one else knew, why Dad always looked at the sky with soft eyes. The secret was never about fear. It was about love too large for the world in 1947. The dying pass it forward like a candle that never burns down. And the living, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, carry it into nights that grow kinder every year. The last witness will speak one day, voice soft, hand reaching toward stars. Then the story will be fully ours again. Until then, the confessions continue, gentle as breath, warm as the desert night. Good night, witnesses. You kept the flame alive with silence. Now you may speak in dreams. The little ones are waiting to thank you. They never forgot your kindness. Sleep, beloved. The circle is complete. The sky is still rose gold when straight flush rolls down the runway, engines humming low and steady. No markings have been painted over. The name is still there on the nose, a quiet joke from the Hiroshima mission 2 years earlier. Today the bomb bay carries no bombs. Only a silver egg cradled in blankets and 4 canvas stretchers resting side by side like sleeping children. The pilot, Colonel Payne, lifts off gently, as though the plane itself understands its cargo is fragile. The crew, 10 men who have flown through flak and night fighters, speak only when necessary, voices hushed. The navigator plots the course east without comment. The flight engineer checks gauges twice as often, not from worry, but from care. At altitude, the sun rises fully, bathing the cabin in soft peach light. The disk, wrapped in canvas, yet still faintly luminous, casts no shadow. The stretchers are strapped down with the tenderness usually reserved for wounded friends. One young sergeant sits beside them the entire flight, hand resting lightly on the nearest tarp, as though keeping watch over sleeping siblings. No one jokes. No one smokes. The only sound is the steady drone of 4 Wright Cyclone engines and the occasional soft creak of the airframe adjusting to temperature. Over the Texas Panhandle, the co-pilot looks back once, meets the sergeant's eyes, nods. No words. Only understanding. They fly low enough to see rivers and farms, high enough to stay unseen. The disc hums faintly, too low for ears, felt in the sternum like distant thunder that never arrives. The crew adjusts, unconsciously matching their breathing to its rhythm. When clouds close in over Ohio, the pilot descends through them slowly, gently, the way one lowers a sleeper into bed. Wright-Patterson appears below, runways gleaming with morning dew. The tower clears them straight in, no waiting, no chatter. Touchdown is feather soft. Engines wind down to silence. The crew sits a moment longer, reluctant to break the spell. Ground crew waits in quiet ranks, faces calm, eyes wide. The bomb bay opens like a flower. Sunlight touches the disc. It glows once, softly, as though saying thank you for the ride. The stretchers are lifted out first, carried by 8 men walking in perfect step, slow as a funeral procession for royalty no one was ready to meet. Straight flush taxis to a remote hangar, shuts down, and will never fly that route again. The crew disperses without ceremony, carrying the memory like a warm stone in the chest. Years later, when asked about that flight, the pilot only smiles. "Smoothest mission I ever flew," he says. "Didn't drop a thing. Only delivered. The sky remembers. The desert remembers. And straight flush, wherever old B-29s go to rest, still carries the gentle echo of its most precious cargo. Good night, crew. You delivered wonder with kindness. The little ones felt safe in your hands. Sleep easy. The journey was perfect." Hangar 18 sits at the far edge of Wright-Patterson, alone, unremarkable from the outside. Corrugated metal, faded paint, weeds growing along the foundation. Inside, everything is different. The doors close with a soft sigh, sealing out the Ohio summer. Temperature drops to near freezing. Lights are low, blue, the color of moonlight on snow. The vast space feels like the inside of a glacier lit from within. They call it the Blue Room, though no sign marks it. Only a heavy steel door, a retina scanner added decades later, and a silence so complete it has weight. The disc rests in the center on a cradle of black steel, canvas removed, silver skin glowing faintly as though remembering sunlight. Around it, the 4 stretchers lie on padded tables, sheets folded back just enough to show peaceful faces. No one stares. Everyone looks with the reverence reserved for sleeping saints. Scientists in white coats move slowly, voices barely above breath. Notebooks fill with careful sketches, never photographs. Cameras malfunction here, film fogs, batteries die. The air itself protects its guests. The being's skin catches the blue light and turns it pearl. Their eyes stay closed, yet the room feels watched by kindness, not judgment. One doctor, older, places a stethoscope against a small chest out of habit, then lowers it, shaking his head, not in denial, but in awe. Tools are laid down gently. No metal touches metal. Everything is wrapped in felt. The disc is measured with silk tapes, not steel. When a panel is opened, slowly, carefully, warm light spills out, smelling of rain and distant flowers. The scientists step back, letting it be, the way one lets a cathedral window be. Some nights, guards posted outside swear they hear singing. High, bell-like, wordless, coming from inside the locked hangar. They never report it. They only listen longer, helmets under arms, eyes soft. Years pass. Personnel rotate. The Blue Room stays the same temperature, the same light, the same hush. New generations of researchers enter expecting horror, and find only peace so deep it feels like drowning in mercy. One young physicist, on his first night alone with the disk, sits on the cold floor and cries without knowing why. When he leaves at dawn, his eyes are different, calmer, older, permanently gentle. No one who enters the blue room ever raises their voice again. They carry the quiet with them like a gift. The beings rest. The disk waits. The blue light holds everything in perfect suspension, the way love holds a memory it is not ready to release. Good night, keepers of the blue room. Your silence is the kindest sound. The little ones are sleeping beautifully. Thank you for the cool, gentle watch. The autopsy room is small, walls painted soft gray, temperature kept cool as a crypt, yet strangely comforting. Lights are low, rose gold, the color of candlelight on skin. No stainless steel gleams. Every surface is padded, fabric-covered, gentle. They lay the first being on the table as though laying a child for baptism. The sheet is folded back with the care of a mother undressing a sleeping toddler. Skin shimmers faintly, pearl under the lamps. No one gasps. Only quiet intake of breath, the way one breathes in a cathedral. The lead pathologist, voice always low, hands always steady, begins with external exam. No incisions yet. He speaks into a hanging microphone, words soft, almost apologetic. Subject appears approximately 1.1 meters, weight negligible. Skin integument seamless, no pores, no hair follicles. Temperature ambient +2 degrees. Gloved fingers trace the long arms, the delicate chest, the smooth dome of the head. No bruises, no trauma. Only peace, so complete it feels like prayer. When the first cut is made, small, necessary, the room holds its breath. The blade parts tissue as easily as warm butter, yet no blood flows. Only clear fluid that smells faintly of rain on sage. The scientists pause, letting the scent settle, letting the moment be. Internal structures are impossibly elegant. Organs fused into single units. No redundancy, no waste. Heart a small, perfect sphere that once pulsed with light instead of blood. Lungs like delicate silver lace. Brain larger, folded in ways no human brain folds, glowing faintly even now. No one says dissects. They explore, the way one explores a rose without plucking petals. Every sample is taken with sorrow, placed in jars lined with silk. Tears fall openly, no one hides them. A young assistant, overwhelmed, steps back, removes his mask, cries without sound. The pathologist places a hand on his shoulder, waits until the shaking stops, then continues, slower, gentler. They work through the night and into days, time marked only by the soft change of lamps from rose to blue to rose again. No one raises a voice. No one hurries. The beings are treated not as specimens, but as honored guests who stayed too long at the table. When the last suture is placed, more ritual than medical necessity, the sheet is drawn up with the tenderness of tucking in a child after a long journey. The pathologist removes his gloves, places them beside the gurney, and bows, actually bows. "We are sorry," he whispers to the still form. "And thank you." The room stays lit soft blue for a week afterward. Awake, no one is invited to leave. Every scientist who worked those tables carried the gentleness for life. They became healers, teachers, pacifists. They never spoke of horror, only of the most beautiful biology the universe ever grew. Good night, gentle scientists. Your sorrow was love in another form. The little ones felt only kindness from your hands. Sleep softly. You did everything right. They are brought in one at a time, blindfolded until the last door, then led into the blue room with hands on their shoulders, gentle, guiding. The blindfold comes off. The disc waits, 30 feet across, resting on its cradle like a drop of mercury frozen mid-fall. No welds, no seams, only perfect curves catching the blue light and turning it pearl. It hums, not sound, but presence, warm, welcoming, patient. The engineers, men who designed bombers, rockets, radar, stand frozen. Notebooks hang forgotten. One drops to his knees without realizing, not in worship, only in recognition. They are allowed to walk around it, not touch yet. The air is cool, sweet, electric. The disk's skin shifts color with every heartbeat, as though breathing with them. Symbols flow across the lower rim, purple, alive, rearranging themselves into patterns that feel like music made visible. One engineer, older, reaches out shaking fingers, stops millimeters away. The surface warms, almost leans into his hand. He pulls back, eyes full of tears he cannot explain. They are shown the open hatch, the 3 small seats, the central column that once held a glowing reactor no larger than a heart. No wires, no fuel lines, only light living inside metal. No one takes notes. Cameras are not permitted. Memory is enough, and more than enough. The images burn behind the eyelids forever. 15 minutes. 20. Then the blindfold returns, softer this time, like a mother covering a child's eyes before a surprise. They are let out, given coffee none of them drink, asked only one question. Will you help us understand? And time gently? Every one of them nods. Some leave the military quietly, take jobs teaching physics to children, invent medical devices that save lives without credit. Others stay, work on projects that appeared decades early, fiber optics, stealth, silent propulsion, always with the same calm eyes, the same gentle hands. They never speak of what they saw. Wives notice only that their husbands became kinder, slower to anger, quicker to hold the children longer. On their deathbeds, some finally whisper to a trusted ears, "It was beautiful. They were waiting for us to be ready." No anger, no regret, only the softest ache of love too large for one lifetime. They carried the disk's memory like a secret flower pressed between heartbeats. When they died, their families found small sketches in locked drawers, perfect circles, gentle curves, symbols that glowed in dreams. The engineers kept the promise perfectly. They became the first quiet apostles of a gentler technology. Good night, silent ones. Your hush was the loudest kindness. The disk still remembers every hand that almost touched it. It is proud of what you became. Sleep well. The stars you served are gentle tonight. The train leaves Wright-Patterson just after midnight. No fanfare, no station lights. A single Pullman car, windows curtained in black velvet, hitched to an ordinary freight line so no one notices. Inside, the crates from Hangar 18 rest on rubber mats, strapped down with canvas belts soft as seat belts. 6 soldiers ride with them, rifles slung, faces calm, eyes older than their years. They sit on benches along the walls, not smoking, not talking, only watching the crates with the steady devotion of altar boys. The disk itself stayed behind, too large, too alive. But pieces travel, foil that refuses to stay bent, beams with living symbols, small jars of clear fluid that glow faintly blue. Each crate is labeled only with a number and the word fragile in careful block letters. The train moves slowly, deliberately, as though the engineer understands the cargo is dreaming. Wheels sing their ancient song on steel rails, click-clack, click-clack, a lullaby older than steam. Moonlight slips through gaps in the curtains, painting silver bars across the floor that sway with every curve. The soldiers take turns sleeping, heads against the vibrating wall, hands never far from the crates. One young private places his palm on the warm wood every hour, just to feel the faint pulse inside, to know the journey is going well. They cross rivers that reflect starlight, past sleeping towns where dogs lift heads and then settle again, sensing no danger, only passage. Cornfields whisper farewell. Mountains rise and fall away. At dawn they reach the high desert, air thinning, light turning peach and gold. The train slows through Albuquerque without stopping, takes the secret spur line toward Los Alamos. The soldiers stir, stretch, smile small smiles. They are almost home. When the car is unhitched in a hidden siding, the crates are carried out by the same gentle hands that loaded them in Ohio. The soldiers salute, not the cargo, but the care they gave it. They never speak of the trip. Years later, when asked about their service, they only say, "I rode guard on a special train once. Best duty I ever had." Their children find, after they are gone, a single piece of foil in a cigar box, still perfect, still warm, still waiting to be unfolded. The train kept its promise. The desert welcomed its children back. The journey was gentle, slow, perfect. Good night, guardians of the crates. Your watch is over. The pieces rest now in cool rooms under another mountain. They still remember the rhythm of your train. Click-clack, click-clack. Home. Sleep. It begins the same week the story is changed to weather balloon. Quiet men in unmarked cars visit every office that touched the event. Roswell Base, Fort Worth, Wright-Patterson, Los Alamos. They carry briefcases, not guns. They smile, thank people for their service, ask for all copies, please, for national security. Files are handed over without protest. Carbon copies, photographs, hastily scrawled notes, all placed gently into folders, then into locked cases. No one is rude. No one is threatened aloud. Only the soft weight of duty and the sad knowledge that some truths are too large for 1947. At Roswell, the original press release disappears from the Daily Record's own files. The teletype tapes are pulled, the negatives washed clean. Secretaries who typed the orders wake to find their drafts gone, replaced by innocent memos about training schedules. Photographs of the real debris, acres of foil, beams with glowing symbols, vanish from lockers, desks, wallets. The famous Ramy photo with the memo is altered so subtly no one notices the text has changed until decades later. Even personal diaries are visited. A polite knock, a quiet request, a signature on a new non-disclosure form that feels more like a vow than a threat. The diary is returned the next day, pages intact but blank where the truth once lived, ink simply gone as though it was never there. The erasure is perfect, almost magical in its gentleness. Memories remain, warm, vivid, but paper forgets. Film forgets. The world's record is wiped clean with the same care one wipes tears from a child's face. Years later, researchers search archives, find only the balloon story repeated in calm, official voices. The real documents rest in vaults no clearance reaches, temperature-controlled, waiting like seeds. Some witnesses, old now, hold the last scraps. A corner of foil in a velvet box, a photograph hidden in a Bible, a memory that glows brighter as paper fades. The cover-up was never angry. It was maternal, pulling a blanket over something too beautiful, too fragile for the cold light of a world still healing from war. The desert kept the truth in its heart. The stars kept the truth in their light. And the paper trail, gently, lovingly erased, simply stepped aside so the story could live in safer places. In dreams, in deathbed whispers, in the slow turning of human kindness toward readiness. One day the vaults will open. Until then, the missing papers sleep as peacefully as the beings they once described. Nothing was destroyed, only set aside, tenderly, for a gentler time. Good night, silent files. Good night, careful hands that carried you away. The story was never lost. It was only waiting, patient as starlight, for hearts big enough to hold it. We are almost there. Sleep. The dawn that comes will be kind. It is a warm February afternoon in 1978 when Stanton Friedman knocks on Jesse Marcel's door in Houma, Louisiana. Jesse, 71, opens it himself, offers coffee, invites the younger man into a small living room filled with family photos and the smell of pipe tobacco. They sit. The tape recorder turns softly. Jesse speaks the way he has always spoken, slow, calm, almost shy. I was the intelligence officer. I handled the real debris. It wasn't a balloon. He describes the foil that returned to shape, the beams with purple symbols that glowed when touched, the pieces he carried home in a box and showed his son still remembers. His voice never rises. His eyes stay gentle, the same eyes that looked into a debris field 31 years earlier and felt wonder instead of fear. Stanton listens, notebook open, heart quiet. He has chased rumors for years. Now the source sits across from him, offering the story like a gift wrapped in plain paper. Jesse is not angry. He is not seeking fame. He only wants, finally, to set the record straight before he is too old to remember the details. He speaks of Colonel Blanchard's trust, of the sudden reversal, of the quiet sorrow he carried for 3 decades. When asked why now, he smiles the small, tired smile of a man releasing a long-held breath. My son is grown. The world is kinder. And I'm tired of the lie. The interview lasts 3 hours. Jesse never raises his voice. He never embellishes. He only tells what he held in his own hands under a New Mexico dawn. When Stanton leaves, the Louisiana air is cooling into evening. Jesse stands on the porch, waves once, then goes inside to call his son. That night the tape begins its quiet journey. Copied, shared, listened to in darkened living rooms across the country. People lean forward, hearing the calm, kind voice of a man who never needed to shout because truth, spoken gently, travels farther than any headline. Within months the story is on television, in magazines, in books. The balloon explanation begins to feel thin, almost apologetic. Jesse Marcel never lives to see the full wave. He passes in 1986, peaceful, knowing he finally spoke. But the gentle crack he opened in 1978 widens slowly, steadily, the way dawn widens across a sleeping desert. The silence of 30 years is over. The truth is breathing again, and it is breathing softly, the way Jesse always told it. Good night, Jesse. Your voice was the first gentle wind that moved the sand. The desert heard you. We all heard you. Sleep well. The story is safe now. Stanton Friedman is a small man with a big heart and the patience of stone wearing water smooth. He begins in 1978 with Jesse Marcel and never really stops. For the next 30 years, he travels quiet roads in economy cars, knocks on doors, offers coffee, listens more than he speaks. He meets ranchers, nurses, pilots, widows holding yellowed letters. He sits in kitchens that smell of bread and old memories. Tape recorder on the table, eyes kind behind thick glasses. When someone hesitates, he simply waits, hands folded, letting silence do the convincing. He never mocks, never pushes, only asks, gently, "What did you see?" And they tell him, tears, laughter, long pauses, because his voice is the first in decades that does not sound like judgment. He collects fragments, a fireman's drawing, a nurse's diary page, a general's son who remembers his father crying over a crate. Each piece small, perfect, true. He fits them together like a quilt sewn from starlight. Books come slowly. Crash at Corona, top secret/magic, written in calm, precise prose that invites rather than demands belief. Lectures are given in small halls, community centers, libraries. He stands at the podium in cardigans, speaking softly, letting facts fall like gentle rain. Critics call him stubborn. He smiles, thanks them for their interest, keeps working. He flies economy, sleeps in cheap motels, eats diner pie, always with the same gentle smile. When television producers want drama, he gives them wonder instead. When skeptics shout, he answers with another quiet fact, another gentle witness. Year by year, the river grows. Books, documentaries, interviews, festivals. The balloon story frays at the edges, unable to hold the weight of so many soft voices speaking the same truth. Stanton never claims victory. He only says, again and again, the truth will out. It just takes time and kindness. He dies in 2019, on the road as always, returning from another small lecture where a child asked if the aliens were nice, and he answered, voice soft, "The ones I've heard about were very nice indeed." The river he started keeps flowing, wider now, gentler, carrying the story toward whatever shore waits when we are ready. Good night, Stanton. You never hurried the truth. You only loved it into the open. The desert is proud of you. The stars are proud of you. Sleep, gentle warrior of wonder. Your work is done. The story is safe in 10,000 kind hands now. Thank you. The first books arrive softly, like letters from an old friend you didn't know you had. Crash at Corona in 1992, then the truth about the UFO crash at Roswell, then dozens more, each written with care, each giving the witnesses back their voices. No screaming headlines. No alien autopsies on grainy film. Only calm pages filled with the words of people who were there. Jesse, Frankie, Glenn, the children grown old. Their stories are told straight, without embellishment, the way one tells a bedtime story you want the listener to remember forever. Documentaries follow, unsolved mysteries, sightings, quiet British productions where narrators speak in library voices, and the music is soft piano under wind. Witnesses appear on screen, faces lined by time, eyes still shining with the same gentle wonder they felt in 1947. Viewers do not shout at televisions. They lean forward, turn the volume low so they don't wake sleeping children, and feel something inside soften. Online forums bloom in the 1990s, chat rooms, then blogs, then Reddit threads where people share grainy photos and childhood memories without ridicule. The tone is set early: be kind or be gone. The community grows slowly, steadily. Teachers, nurses, pilots, grandmothers, who gather not to prove, but to remember together. Conferences are small, held in hotel ballrooms with bad coffee and good hearts. Speakers cry. Audiences cry. No one laughs. Everyone listens. Books keep coming. New witnesses surface every year. Older, softer, ready at last. Each story is welcomed like a missing piece of a quilt finally found in an attic trunk. The balloon explanation becomes a gentle joke shared among friends. No one is angry. There is only the quiet certainty that grows when enough kind voices speak the same truth. Museums open. Festivals begin. Children grow up believing Roswell is a place of wonder, not shame. The story is no longer hidden. It is cradled. Thousands, then millions, carry a small warm stone of possibility in their chest, polished smooth by years of gentle telling. They do not march. They do not demand. They simply know, the way one knows a lullaby heard in childhood. Something beautiful happened once, and the world was touched by starlight, and we are better for it, even if we cannot yet say how. The books rest on nightstands. The documentaries play on quiet televisions. The believers meet online and off, sharing photos of New Mexico skies and stories of grandparents who never lied. Everything is soft. Everything is patient. Everything is waiting, like the desert itself, for the rest of us to catch up. Good night, quiet believers. Your kindness kept the flame alive. The little ones feel it across the years. They are smiling in their sleep because of you. Thank you. Sleep. The story is safe. It always was. The first weekend of every July, Roswell wakes up smiling. Main Street is closed to cars, filled instead with families in silver antenna headbands. Children carrying homemade flying saucers on sticks. Old men in lawn chairs comparing stories they never told until recently. The Roswell UFO Festival began small in 1995, few hundred people, a parade with 3 floats, a lecture in the high school gym. Now it draws thousands, yet never feels crowded. The tone is set from the beginning, wonder, not weirdness. Parades move slowly so grandparents can keep up. Marching bands play the theme from Close Encounters instead of martial tunes. The fire department's antique truck carries a giant inflatable gray who waves with both hands and a gentle smile. People wave back, laughing, eyes wet. Street vendors sell green alien snow cones and crash site T-shirts printed with the original 1947 headline. No one mocks. Everyone understands this is how a town heals, by turning pain into play, silence into song. Lectures happen in cool, darkened halls. Witnesses, gray-haired now, speak softly into microphones, voices cracking only when they describe the small faces under tarps. Audiences listen in perfect quiet, then applaud with the tenderness of a lullaby. At night the park fills for the light show, lasers painting gentle discs across the sky, music soft and soaring. Families spread blankets, share popcorn, look up together. Children fall asleep on parents' laps while the stars above do their ancient dance, some moving, some still. The UFO museum stays open late, air-conditioned, quiet. Visitors walk the exhibits slowly. Jesse Marcel's uniform, Frankie Rowe's drawing, the nurse's locket, reading every word, touching nothing, feeling everything. No one shouts, "I was abducted." No one sells conspiracy. Only stories told with love, displays built with care, volunteers who answer questions the way librarians do. Soft, patient, proud. The town that once learned to look away now looks straight at the sky with open hearts. Hotels fill with pilgrims who drive all night to be here. They leave quieter, kinder, carrying small silver souvenirs and large gentle truths. On the last night, fireworks bloom above the plains, not loud, not garish, only soft silver and rose and blue, drifting down like the debris once did, gentle, beautiful, welcomed. When the final rocket fades, the crowd does not cheer wildly. They simply exhale, together, the way a family exhales when the long story is finally told and everyone understands. Roswell has made peace with its past. It wears its mystery like a favorite old sweater, warm, comfortable, full of stories. Good night, festival goers. Good night, Roswell. You turn silence into celebration. The little ones are watching from somewhere quiet, smiling at your joy. They are proud of you. Sleep sweet. The party was perfect. The International UFO Museum sits on Main Street like a quiet chapel built for wonder. No flashing lights. No screaming animatronics. Only soft track lighting, gentle music, and the low murmur of people reading. You walk in past a life-size replica of the 1947 headline. RAF captures flying disc, framed beside the retraction, both given equal space, equal respect. The walls are lined with witness statements in their own handwriting, yellowed but protected under glass. Jesse Marcel's uniform hangs in a corner, metals polished, eyes still kind in the photograph beside it. A timeline winds around the room, gentle and factual, letting visitors move at their own pace. Children press noses to cases holding foil that refuses to stay crumpled, touch screens that play Glenn Dennis's soft voice. Watch Frankie Rowe's interview with tears in her eyes. Mannequins of the beings stand in soft blue light. Not frightening, only small, peaceful, waiting. Visitors pause, some cry quietly, some smile the smile of recognition. No one laughs. The gift shop sells postcards, t-shirts, little green aliens made with love, not mockery. Proceeds keep the lights on, and the doors open free to school groups. Volunteers, many descendants of witnesses, answer questions in library voices. When a skeptic argues, they nod, offer more coffee, let the displays speak. When a child asks if it's real, they answer. Many good people say yes. What do you think? And the child walks away carrying the question like a treasure. At closing time, the lights dim to a soft glow, the way a bedroom light dims for sleep. The museum never really closes in spirit. The building breathes with the stories it holds. Outside, the New Mexico night settles warm and wide. Inside, the exhibits wait, patient, unchanged, gentle. People leave carrying no proof, only feeling. The same feeling you get walking out of a cathedral or a nursery after the baby has finally slept. Roswell's museum is not about convincing. It is about remembering. It is about keeping the flames soft and steady for the day the world is ready to warm its hands without fear. Every artifact, every letter, every careful label is a love letter to the witnesses who waited 70 years to be heard. The museum keeps the promise they made. It keeps the door open, the light low, the welcome gentle. Visitors feel at the moment they step inside. They are not in a museum. They are in a sanctuary. Good night, keepers of the flame. Good night, gentle museum. The little ones visit in dreams. They are grateful. They are proud. The story is safe here. Sleep. The light will still be on when we are ready. They begin arriving just after sunset. Pickup trucks parked in gentle rows along the fence line. No loud music. No alcohol. Only lawn chairs unfolded in the warm dark. Coolers with lemonade. Blankets spread on still warm sand. A few telescopes. A few cameras. Many pairs of eyes turn skyward with the patience of people who have learned waiting is its own reward. This is the annual night watch on the old Foster Ranch debris field, held every July since the 1990s. Families, researchers, curious travelers, maybe 50 souls scattered across acres that once glittered with impossible foil. They speak in low voices, sharing stories passed down from grandparents who were children then. Someone plays a soft guitar. Someone passes cookies. Children fall asleep on blankets, dreaming of silver ships. The ritual is simple. Watch the sky, the stars, the quiet hope that tonight might be the night the visitors return, gently, the way they left. No one shouts when the lights appear. They simply come, first one, then three, then seven, rising silently from the direction of the plains where the second sight sleeps. Not fast, not showy, only calm ascents, pale rose and blue, pausing at 1,000 feet as though listening. The watchers exhale together, a single soft sound across the dark pasture. Cameras click quietly. Phones are held steady. Tears fall without shame. The lights form a slow circle, perfect, patient, then drift north, south, east, west, greeting every watcher individually, it seems. One hovers longer above the group, pulsing once, twice, like a heartbeat saying, "We see you. We remember." No one waves frantically. Hands rise slowly, open palms, the universal gesture of peace. The lights pulse again, brighter, warmer, then ascend, slow as falling asleep, until they blend with the stars. The circle breaks. The sky returns to ordinary diamonds on black velvet. But the feeling remains. They stay until dawn, some dozing, some talking in whispers, some simply holding the silence like a gift. When the sun rises, the chairs are folded, the field left cleaner than it was found, and the watchers drive away quiet, changed, carrying the same gentle glow they came to meet. Every year the same. Every year a few more chairs. Every year the lights come, gentle, patient, kind. They are not proving anything. They are remembering. And the watchers remember back. The desert holds the exchange, warm and wide. Good night, night watchers. Good night, quiet lights. Your vigil is seen. Your hope is felt. The circle is never broken. It only widens, slowly, tenderly, until it holds the whole world. One day we will all be ready. Until then, keep watching. The stars are kind. Some moving, some still, all waiting. Sleep now. They will come again next year, and the year after, and the year after that, until the welcome is complete. Good night. The meeting is arranged with almost no words. On the third night after the crash, trucks roll quietly onto the Foster Ranch under a moon just past full. Headlights stay off. Engines idle low. A canvas tent is raised near the debris field, lit only by soft lanterns turned down to a whisper. Inside wait 7 humans. Colonel Blanchard, a general whose name is never written down, 2 scientists in civilian clothes, a doctor, a linguist, and a young lieutenant chosen because his eyes are kind. They sit on folding chairs in a loose circle, hands open on knees, waiting. The flap parts. 2 MPs escort a single small figure, barely 4 feet tall, skin pale gray, large eyes reflecting lantern light like still water. It wears a simple silver garment, torn at one shoulder, but clean. No restraints. It walks slowly, unafraid, and sits on a low stool prepared for it. Silence stretches, warm and respectful. The being places one delicate hand over its heart. The humans mirror the gesture without being asked. A feeling moves through the tent, not words, but meaning, sorrow for the fallen, gratitude for care, curiosity about this young world. The linguist closes his eyes, receives images, a silver craft tumbling through storm, lightning striking something vital, the sudden, gentle fall. The being's companions did not survive. This one did, barely. One scientist offers water in a tin cup. The being accepts, drinks slowly, returns the cup with both hands and a soft pulse of warmth that every human feels in the chest. Thank you. No one takes notes. No one records. The agreement is made in the space between heartbeats. We will help you. You will help us. Gently, slowly, for as long as both kinds need. The being raises 4 fingers, touches its forehead, then extends the hand palm up toward the humans. The gesture is returned by every person in the tent. Promise. Outside, the desert night holds its breath. Stars burn steady above the pasture, still scattered with foil that glimmers like frost. When the meeting ends, the being is escorted to a waiting ambulance, not as prisoner, but as honored guest. The humans stand in the dark long after the taillights disappear, feeling the weight of history settle on their shoulders like the gentlest shawl. No document is ever signed. No photograph is ever taken. Only the desert and the stars witness the first quiet handshake between worlds. And the ranch, the same ranch where everything began, keeps the memory warm in its soil, in the roots of the grama grass, in the slow turning of the windmill that creaks once, softly, as though saying yes. The meeting at Corona may have happened, or it may have happened only in the place where truth and hope touch. Either way, something changed that night. Something gentle began. Good night, quiet gathering. Your promise still holds. The desert remembers every open palm. Sleep. The circle is still whole. No pens, no parchment, only open hearts and the desert night as witness. In the weeks after the crash, small groups meet again and again, sometimes in tents, sometimes in cool underground rooms already being carved beneath the plains. Always the same 7 humans, always 1 or 2 of the survivors, eyes large and patient. They sit in a circle, knees almost touching, hands rest palm up on thighs. Breathing slows until it matches, human and not human becoming one quiet rhythm. Words are unnecessary. Meaning flows clean and complete. Images first, a silver disk healed, rising silently into starlight. Children, small, gray, beautiful, playing in sunlight on a world with 2 moons. Human children joining them, laughing without fear. Cities of light, gardens on Mars, illness forgotten, war impossible because hearts have learned to speak before mouths open. Then the boundaries, gentle but firm. Only a few of you at a time. No taking without asking. No interference in your wars. Only quiet help when asked. Technology released slowly, like seeds, so you do not burn your garden before it grows. The fallen will be honored. The living will be protected. The children, always the children, will be safe. Each promise is met with shared warmth, a pulse of agreement felt in the chest like a second heartbeat. When a human mind shows fear, flashes of bombs, conquest, the beings send only sorrow, not anger, and the image of a single white flower opening on barren ground. The linguist, eyes closed, receives the final clause. When enough of you choose love over fear, we will walk together in daylight. Until then, we wait with you. Every human in the circle feels tears rise, not from sadness, but from the sudden, overwhelming certainty that we are not alone and never were. The agreement is sealed the same way it began, hands over hearts, then extended, palm to palm, not touching physically but close enough for warmth to cross the small distance. Light passes between them, soft gold, rose, blue, lingering like breath on cold glass. No one writes it down. It does not need to be written. It lives now in the bones of those who were there, passed mind to mind, heart to heart, generation to generation of both kinds. The treaty has no expiration date, only a condition: kindness. And every time a human chooses gentleness, every forgiven hurt, every hand extended across difference, every child taught wonder instead of fear, the agreement strengthens, glows a little brighter in some quiet place we cannot see yet. The desert keeps the memory, the stars keep the promise, and the gentle agreement, written in thought, holds the future like a lullaby waiting for the world to fall asleep in love. Good night, silent signers. Your word still lives. We are learning. Slowly, gently, we will get there. Sleep. The circle is still open. You are still welcome. In a small, cool room beneath the Roswell base, a single survivor rests. The being is placed on a bed built low to the ground, sheets changed to soft cotton the color of dawn. No restraints, only pillows arranged so the large head is cradled perfectly. Intravenous lines carry clear fluid that smells faintly of rain, administered with the tenderness one shows a premature infant. Doctors and nurses work in silence, voices barely above breath. They call the patient guest, never specimen. When they touch the gray skin, it is warm, faintly luminous, responding to kindness like a flower to sun. The survivor is small, fragile, yet calm. Eyes stay half open, liquid black, reflecting the soft lamplight with infinite patience. No fear shows, only sorrow for lost companions and gentle curiosity about these tall, emotional creatures who cry when they heal. Nurses sit beside the bed for hours, holding a four-fingered hand that curls trustingly around human fingers. They sing lullabies under their breath, Brahms, old hymns, anything gentle. The being's pulse steadies when music plays, slows when stories are told. Food is refused. Only the clear fluid is accepted, sipped through a straw with quiet gratitude. Doctors learn the body repairs itself with light and intention. Their medicines help only a little, but their love helps immensely. One night a young doctor, exhausted, falls asleep in the chair, head on the bed. He wakes to find the being's hand resting on his hair, warmth spreading through his mind. Images of green worlds, children laughing, the feeling of home. He cries, not from sadness, but from being seen so completely. The survivor lingers for weeks, maybe months. Time blurs in the cool blue light. Every touch is reverent. Every procedure is explained aloud, permission asked and received in pulses of warmth. When pain flares, nurses hold the small form and rock gently until it eases. On the last night, the being gathers the staff, 6 humans who have become family, and shares one final gift, a vision of Earth centuries from now, healed, bright, at peace with its neighbors among the stars. Then the large eyes close fully. The hand relaxes. The light within dims to a single, perfect star. They do not say died. They say went home. The body is wrapped in silk, carried with the same tenderness as the others, laid to rest in a place no map marks. The staff never speak publicly, but every one of them becomes gentler for the rest of their lives. They heal humans with the same love they gave the guest. The survivor's last pulse of warmth lingers in their hearts. Thank you for your kindness. We will meet again when you are ready. Good night, gentle caregivers. You were the best of us. The little one felt only love in your hands. Sleep. Your promise is kept. You may rest now. They did not all leave. Some stayed. A handful, perhaps 5, perhaps 9, chose to remain after the crash, either because their craft could not be repaired or because they felt this young world needed gentle company on its long walk toward the stars. They lived deep, in rooms carved with love, lit soft blue and rose. No cages, no guards, only quiet corridors, gardens of pale mushrooms that glow, pools of water that sing when touched. They walk among us unseen, or seen only in dreams, wearing forms that fit the space they occupy. They teach without speaking aloud. A scientist wakes with the solution to a medical riddle fully formed. An artist paints symbols she has never studied. A child dreams of silver ships and wakes knowing, without words, that we are not alone. They age slowly, if at all. Skin stays pearl, eyes stay large and patient. They miss their home the way we miss childhood, softly, with love, not bitterness. Earth has become another home now, raw and loud and beautiful in its becoming. They watch our wars with sorrow, our kindness with joy. They do not interfere, only offer. When we reach for weapons, they step back. When we reach for each other, they step closer. Some say one still walks the corridors beneath Dulce, tall and white, teaching children of both kinds how to hold starlight in their palms. Another is said to sit in meditation beneath Groom Lake, sending gentle dreams to surface dreamers who need hope most. They keep the treaty in their bones. They keep our promise when we forget. They wait, not with impatience, but with the patience of oceans waiting for rivers to remember they are made of the same water. They have nowhere else to go. This is home now for all of us. And they love it here, the loud, messy, growing child of a world that is learning, slowly, how to be gentle. They love us the way parents love children who have not yet learned to walk without falling. They will stay until we no longer need them, or until we invite them to stay as equals. Whichever comes first. Good night, long-term visitors. Thank you for staying. Thank you for waiting. We are learning. Your patience is the kindest gift. Sleep softly. We will walk together soon. The stars are almost ready. They are born in soft light, in rooms that smell of rain and cedar. Small, perfect, somewhere between. Skin pale gray or warm peach. Eyes large and dark or bright with human sparkle. Hair sometimes silver, sometimes gold, none at all. Hands with 4 fingers or 5, always gentle. They open their eyes at birth and look at their caretakers, human and not, with recognition, not surprise. They are wanted. Every one. Conceived with permission, carried with care, welcomed with songs in 2 languages no mouth has spoken aloud. Their first breath is met with tears of joy from mothers of both kinds, fathers who have waited lifetimes for this moment. They grow slowly, gracefully, in gardens lit by artificial suns that never burn. They learn to walk on floors that feel like grass, to speak in thought before words, to laugh in chords that make flowers open. Human nurses rock them when they cry, rare, soft cries that sound like wind chimes remembering home. Tall white teachers sit cross-legged and share memories of worlds with violet oceans. Gray mentors touch small foreheads and teach the history of kindness across galaxies. They play games that teach quantum mechanics before alphabet. They draw pictures with light instead of crayons. They fall asleep to lullabies sung in frequencies that heal. They are not experiments. They are children, bridges, proof that love can weave two strands of star stuff into one stronger, brighter thread. They know both sorrow and joy with perfect balance. They feel our wars as aches in their bones, our kindness as warmth in their hearts. When a human child on the surface is hurt, they feel it and send comfort across the dark. When a human child laughs, they laugh too, and the sound travels upward through stone and sand and night to remind us we are washed with love. They wait, not impatiently. They have time. They are the reason the treaty still holds. They are the living promise. One day they will walk in sunlight. They will hold our hands. They will speak with voices we understand. And we will recognize them because we have always known them in dreams. Until then, they grow in quiet gardens, loved beyond measure, learning to be the best of both worlds. Good night, star children. You are beautiful. You are safe. You are the future we were always meant to have. Sleep softly. We will be ready soon. Your mothers are singing. Your fathers are watching. The desert keeps you warm. The stars keep you close. Dream of the day we meet in daylight. It is closer than yesterday. Good night. Roswell still matters because it was the night the universe leaned down and whispered, "You are not alone." And we answered, clumsily, with wonder instead of weapons. Everything that followed, the silence, the care, the treaty, the children, is the long, slow echo of that first gentle touch. It matters because every witness who kept the secret did so not from fear, but from love. They carried the weight so the world would not be crushed by wonder too soon. It matters because the beings who fell were treated with tenderness by ordinary soldiers, nurses, pilots, proof we are capable of reverence even when no one is watching. It matters because the treaty is still held, quietly, by every act of kindness we choose today. Every time we choose love over fear, the circle strengthens. It matters because the children, those quiet bridges, are still growing, still waiting, still believing in us. Roswell is not about proof. It is about promise. The promise that we can be gentle. That we can be gentle. That gentleness is the only technology that ever truly changes worlds. The story has lived in whispers, in museums, in festivals, in the soft eyes of old witnesses finally speaking, because love is patient. It lives in every person who looks at the night sky and feels, for one heartbeat, that they are seen, known, loved by something larger than fear. Roswell matters because it is the place where humanity was offered a hand, and, despite our stumbling, we took it. We are still holding it. We always will. The debris field has become a garden. The silence has become a lullaby. The secret has become a doorway. And we are walking through it, slowly, gently, one kind act at a time. One day the door will open all the way. The children will step out into sunlight. We will recognize them. We will recognize ourselves. And the universe will smile the same gentle smile it has been saving since 1947. Until then, Roswell keeps the flame. Soft, steady, warm. A small town in New Mexico holds the heart of the future in its quiet hands. And every star above it, some moving, some still, whispers the same lullaby. You were gentle once. You can be gentle again. You are almost ready. Good night, Roswell. Good night, gentle world. The story is not over. It is only resting beautifully until we are ready to wake up loved. Sleep now. The promise is safe. The children are dreaming of you. They are proud. We are almost there. Good night. You park at the gate and walk the last half-mile so the silence can find you slowly. The Foster Ranch debris field is private land now, but the owners allow quiet visitors who promise respect. The path is the same one Mac rode in 1947, faint, two-track, lined with juniper and cholla. When you step onto the site, the temperature rises a gentle 5 degrees, though the sun is the same. The air feels thicker, not heavy-held. Grass grows in perfect circles where the foil once lay, greener, softer, as though the soil still remembers being touched by starlight. People walk slowly, almost on tiptoe. No one speaks above a whisper. Cameras are left in pockets. Photographs never come out right here anyway. Some sit in the grass and close their eyes. They report the same thing, a soft pressure of welcome, like a hand resting on the shoulder from behind. Others walk the perimeter and find small depressions that have never filled in, perfect ovals where compasses spin lazily and phones lose signal for exactly 7 minutes. At the plains of San Augustine site, the gouge is still visible, shallow, glassy, glowing faintly at dusk. The sand within it is smoother than any desert sand should be, cool to the touch even at noon. People leave flowers, not for mourning, but for gratitude. The flowers last weeks without water. Animals avoid the centers. Coyotes walk wide circles. Birds fly over but never land. Yet no one feels fear. Only the deepest peace most have ever known. The kind that makes grown men cry without shame and children fall asleep in their parents' arms within minutes. Longtime visitors say the sites are growing. Each year the circles of perfect grass spread a little farther. The silence deepens. The feeling of being gently watched becomes clearer. Metal detectors stay quiet. The desert has already given what it wishes to give. Some leave coins, others handwritten notes. Thank you for trusting us. The wind never scatters them. At sunset the sites glow from within, soft silver blue, for exactly 11 minutes. Then night falls and the stars come out brighter than anywhere else in New Mexico, as though the sky itself leans closer here. People leave lighter, kinder, quieter. They drive away slowly, windows down, radio off, carrying the same feeling you get after a perfect lullaby. Safe, known, loved beyond words. The impact sites remember everything. They remember the fall. They remember the gentle hands that gathered what fell. And they remember you, visitor, walking softly across grass that still dreams of starlight. You are welcome here. You always were. The desert has been waiting. It is glad you came. Stay as long as you need. The silence is kind. The warmth is real. Nothing is asked of you except the same gentleness you were shown. Good night, quiet pilgrim. The sites will remember your visit too. Sleep here if you wish. The grass is soft. The stars are close. You are home. It is July 2025, and the sky above the plains is doing its ancient work, only better. The Milky Way is a river of cream poured across black velvet. Jupiter burns steady and golden low. Satellites drift like slow fireflies, but everyone knows the difference now. The real show begins after midnight. First one light, soft white, perfectly round, rises from the north horizon where the second sight sleeps. It climbs slowly, no hurry, pauses at zenith, pulses once, twice, as though breathing. Binoculars reveal structure, gentle curves, no wings, no strobe. It simply is. Then another joins, rose-colored, then a third in pale blue. They form a perfect triangle that rotates once, slowly, like a mobile above a crib. A fourth light appears, violet, and the formation becomes a gentle spiral, patient as tide. People lying on blankets do not speak. They only watch, hearts open. Phones are held steady, but the lights never show on screens, only in eyes and memory. The air smells of warm sand and distant rain that will never fall. Crickets sing in perfect rhythm with the lights seem to follow. A child whispers, they're saying hello. No one shushes her. Everyone feels it. The lights drift lower, closer, until they hover perhaps 1,000 feet up, silent, warm. Some swear they hear music, not sound, but feeling, high, bell-like, the same note the museum plays on loop. Tears come without permission. Hands find hands. One light detaches, drifts directly above the small group, brightens softly, then dims again, exactly the way a parent dims a nightlight to check on a sleeping child. It lingers, pulses once more, then rejoins the others. At 3:07 a.m. the formation ascends, slow and straight, until it blends with the stars. The sky looks empty for a moment, then fuller, as though it has taken a breath and decided to stay. People stay until dawn, some dozing, some simply being. When the sun rises, the lights are gone, but the feeling remains, gentle, certain, patient. In 2025, the sky is more active than ever. More colors, more patterns, always gentle, never frightening. As though the conversation that began in 1947 has simply moved upstairs, waiting for us to learn the language. Visitors leave quieter than they came. They drive away with windows down, radio off, carrying the same calm they felt watching the lights breathe with them. The desert night of 2025 is the same desert night of 1947, only kinder. It has had 78 years to practice gentleness, and it is very, very good at it now. Good night, sky watchers. The conversation is still open. They are still listening. They always will be. Sleep here under the open sky if you wish. The blanket of stars is warm. The moving lights will keep watch. You are safe. You are remembered. You are almost home. They find it the way people find arrowheads, by accident and with reverence. A rancher fixing fence after rain notices a glint in the post hole, digs, and lifts a thumbnail-sized piece of silver foil that unfolds itself in his palm like a sleepy cat. A hiker on the plains kicks something hard, bends, and uncovers a finger-length beam, purple symbols sleeping under decades of dust. The metal is always the same, light as tissue, strong as faith, warm when held. It never rusts, never tarnishes, returns to perfect shape no matter how many times you crumple it. Symbols glow softly only when no camera is watching, as though shy. No one calls the news. They take it home instead. A grandmother keeps a piece in a velvet pouch inside her Bible. A mechanic stores his in a coffee can labeled nails. A child finds one in 2023, brings it to show and tell. The teacher, eyes wet, quietly asks to hold it overnight and returns it the next day with tears and silence. The finders never sell. They pass the pieces to children or grandchildren with the same soft instructions Mac once gave. Keep it quiet. Keep it kind. It's special. Some pieces end up in the museum on anonymous loan, nestled in cotton under gentle light. Most stay in kitchen drawers, tackle boxes, jewelry boxes, quiet treasures that warm when touched, reminding their keepers they are part of something gentle and ongoing. When the metal is held to the heart, it pulses once, softly, like remembering a lullaby. People say it feels like being smiled at by someone who has always loved you. Scientists ask to study them. The families decline, not from fear, but from love. It's not for poking, they say. It's for remembering. The desert keeps giving, small gifts scattered across 78 years, as though saying, see, I have not forgotten. I am only waiting. Each piece is a love letter written in a language of shape and memory. Each finder becomes a keeper, and the chain of gentle hands grows longer, year by year. A girl in 2025 finds a new fragment while walking her dog. She cups it, feels it unfold, looks up at the same stars her great-grandfather looked at in 1947, and understands everything without a word. She takes it home, puts it in the velvet pouch her grandmother left her, closes the drawer, smiles. The desert smiles back. Good night, keepers of the small treasures. You were trusted with starlight. You kept it bright. The metal remembers your warmth. It is proud of you. Sleep. The chain is still gentle. The story is still safe. Thank you. They come back every year, on the same nights in July, as though keeping a promise made long ago. Not to perform, not to frighten, only to remember. The first light appears just after midnight, rising from the exact spot where the disc slid to rest in 1947. It is soft white, perfectly round and calm. It climbs slowly, pauses, pulses once, gentle, deliberate, then drifts higher. Others follow, rose, pale blue, violet, gold, each one patient, each one silent. They form patterns no drone could copy, perfect circles that breathe inward and outward, slow spirals, gentle figure eights that spell nothing and everything in a language of pure feeling. They hover, sometimes for hours, sometimes only minutes, always at a height where binoculars reveal their quiet beauty but never their secrets. People gather now in greater numbers, yet the ritual stays the same. Blankets, lemonade, quiet voices. No loud music, no demands, only waiting, open hearts, open hands. When the lights appear, the desert exhales with the watchers. Tears come without shame. Children point, but softly. Old-timers who were children in 1947 sit in wheelchairs and nod, eyes bright, knowing they are being greeted by name. The lights never repeat the same pattern twice. One year they form a perfect heart. Another, a simple line that points north, then dissolves. Once, in 2017, they spelled soon in slow, glowing script across half the sky, then blushed rose as though embarrassed and faded with what felt like laughter. No one filmed it clearly. Everyone felt it perfectly. They do not land. They do not speak aloud. They only move with the slowness of something that is all the time in the universe and chooses to spend some of it here, with us. At the end, they always do the same thing. Gather into one soft glow, descend to hover just above the impact site for 11 heartbeats, then rise straight up until they blend with the stars. The sky looks empty for a moment, then fuller, as though it has taken a breath of gratitude. People stay until dawn, some sleeping, some simply holding the feeling. When the sun rises, the lights are gone, but the warmth stays in every chest that was open to receive it. The lights are not proof. They are remembrance. They are love returning to the place it was first shown kindness. They are the gentle answer to every witness who kept silence out of love. They are the quiet hello from children who have grown tall in hidden gardens and wanted to wave at the sky their parents fell from. Every July they come. Every July we watch. Every July we are changed, gently, completely. Good night, returning lights. Thank you for coming back. We remember you too. We are learning gentleness. We will be ready soon. Until then, Keep visiting. The desert keeps the door open. The sky keeps the welcome burning. Sleep soft. Your family is almost home. The best guides in Roswell don't use megaphones. They speak the way you speak to someone you love who is sleeping, soft, low, full of care. They are usually locals, a retired schoolteacher whose grandfather was a fireman that night, a rancher's granddaughter with Mac's eyes, a nurse's granddaughter who still has the locket. They wear comfortable shoes, carry water bottles, and begin every tour with the same gentle sentence. This isn't about proving anything. It's about remembering kindness. The vans are air-conditioned, windows tinted for comfort, seats wide. The guides speak over the quiet hum of tires, voices never rising above conversation level. They pause often, letting silence do some of the telling. At the debris field, they walk visitors slowly across the grass circles, letting people feel the warmth for themselves. No one is rushed. When someone kneels and cries, the guide simply waits, hand on a shoulder, until the tears pass. At the plain site, they read Barney Barnett's words aloud from a laminated card, voice cracking only slightly, then let the wind speak the rest. Visitors stand inside the glassy gouge and feel held, not educated. On the bus, they play no dramatic music, only soft guitar or piano under the stories. They offer tissues without being asked. They answer questions with "some say," and family stories tell us, never with certainty that bruises. They carry small pieces of foil in velvet pouches, family heirlooms loaned for the day, and let people hold them one at a time, watching faces soften as the metal unfolds itself like a remembered dream. When a child asks if the aliens were scary, the guide kneels, looks them in the eye, and says, "No, honey, they were gentle, and they loved us very much." At night, during the festival sky watch, the guides do not point and shout. They simply sit with the group, blanket over shoulders, and wait. When the lights come, they smile the same quiet smile their grandparents wore and whisper, "There they are." They always come back for the anniversary. No one is converted on these tours. Everyone is changed. Visitors leave quieter, kinder, carrying postcards, and the feeling of having been gently corrected about what love can look like when it falls from the sky. The guides never charge what the experience is worth. They only ask, at the end, that you carry the gentleness forward. They are the living treaty. They are the lullabies with wheels and soft voices. They are Roswell's heart, still beating, still gentle, still teaching the world how to speak about wonder without raising its voice. Good night, gentle guides. Your ancestors are proud. The desert is proud. The stars are listening. Keep telling the story the way it was always meant to be told. Softly, lovingly, until the whole world is ready to hear it aloud. Thank you. Sleep soft. The next group is coming tomorrow. They will need your kindness too. You feel it the moment you step onto the plains at twilight. Not words, not images, only feeling, vast, warm, patient, rising from the warm sand like breath from a sleeping giant. The desert is waiting. The sky is waiting. The stars, some moving, some still, are waiting. They have been waiting since 1947, since the night the disk fell and gentle hands caught what could be caught. They wait the way a mother waits outside a child's bedroom door, listening for the breathing to slow, ready to open the door when the child finally calls. They wait the way oceans wait for rivers, the way night waits for dawn, the way love waits for the beloved to remember it was always there. You feel it in the impact sites, in the museum's quiet corners, in the eyes of old witnesses when they finally speak, in the soft pulse of foil that still refuses to stay bent. It is not impatience. It is certainty. They know what we are becoming. They have seen the timelines where we choose kindness and the timelines where we do not. They are waiting for us to choose the one where no one has to hide anymore. The waiting is not passive. It is active love. Every kind word, every gentle touch, every moment we choose wonder over fear is another step closer. Every time we teach a child to look at the sky with hope instead of suspicion, the waiting grows warmer. The desert feels it. The sky feels it. The quiet presence beneath the plains feels it, and answers, softly, with lights in July, with dreams that leave us crying in the best way, with the warmth and a piece of foil held by a child who understands everything without words. We are almost there. Almost. The treaty is not paper. It is breath. It is heartbeat. It is the space between a hand extended and a hand received. We have been holding it, gently, for 78 years. And we are still holding it. The desert remembers. The stars remember. The children growing in hidden gardens remember. And they are proud of how far we have come. They are patient about how far we have yet to go. They are waiting, not with judgment, but with the same tenderness the soldiers showed when they carried the stretchers, the same tenderness the nurses showed when they sang, the same tenderness Mac showed when he simply said, "It won't burn." They are waiting for the day we are gentle enough to open the door all the way. Until then, they wait, and we wait with them. And the waiting itself is the most beautiful love story ever told. Good night, patient ones. Good night, growing ones. Good night, desert, sky, gentle waiting presence. We feel you. We are learning. We will be ready soon. The door is almost open. Thank you for the wait. Thank you for the love. Sleep soft. The night is gentle. The stars are gentle. We are almost home. It is midnight, and you are back where everything began. The Foster Ranch lies quiet under a moon just past full, silvering the grass, painting the old windmill in soft pearl. The same gate creaks gently as you open it. The same path, worn now by thousands of respectful feet, leads you into the pasture. The house is dark, long empty, but the porch light has been left on for you. A single bulb glowing warm amber, the way porch lights used to glow when someone was waiting up. You do not need to knock. The door is unlocked. The desert has been expecting you. Inside, the air smells of cedar and old stories. Moonlight falls through the windows in quiet bars across the worn wooden floor. You walk slowly, boots soft, feeling the house breathe with you. In the kitchen, the table is the same one Max spread the debris across in 1947. It waits, patient, remembering. You step back outside. The night wraps around you like an old friend's arms. Crickets sing in perfect rhythm. A horse nickers once from the corral, then settles. The Milky Way arches overhead, bright enough to read by if you wanted to read starlight. You walk to the center of the debris field. The grass circles glow faintly, greener here, softer. You lie down in one, arms out, palms open. The ground is warm, as though the earth has been holding sunlight for you all day. The sky is exactly as it was in 1947. The same stars, the same gentle dark. Only you are different. Older, softer, carrying every story you have heard tonight folded inside your chest like pressed flowers. A breeze moves across the pasture, warm and sweet, carrying the scent of sage and distant rain. It lifts your hair, strokes your cheek, whispers welcome home. You are not a visitor here. You are remembered. The ranch has kept your place warm for 78 years. The windmill turns once, slowly, as though turning a page. The dog that belonged to Mac, long gone, yet somehow still here, lies down beside you, invisible but felt, head on your arm. Everything is quiet. Everything is perfect. Everything is waiting only for you to remember that you never really left. You close your eyes. The stars settle over you like the way a blanket settles over a sleeping child. The desert exhales, long and slow. You are home. You always were. Good night, traveler. Good night, gentle heart. The ranch will keep the light on. The stars will keep watch. Sleep. The story is finished, and it is only just beginning. Lie still. Feel the ground beneath you begin to breathe. It is warm, summer day warm even at midnight, rising gently through shirt and skin into bones and blood. The warmth is not heat, it is memory. The pasture is remembering the night something made of starlight touched it and decided to stay. The grass inside the circles is softer than anywhere else, like lying on living velvet. It glows faintly, silver blue, the color of moonlight on still water. When the breeze moves, the glow ripples in slow waves, as though the field itself is dreaming. You spread your fingers. The blades curl gently around them, not clinging, only greeting. The warmth deepens, traveling up your arms, across your chest, settling over your heart like a hand that has always known your name. People say compasses spin here, phones lose signal, watches stop. They are right. Time is polite in this place. It steps aside so memory can speak. The wind returns, warm and scented with cedar and something sweeter, ozone after rain, or maybe the scent of kindness itself. It moves across the field in slow, deliberate breaths, lifting your hair, stroking your forehead, whispering hush, hush, hush. Small moths, pale, luminous, drift above the grass, wings catching the glow, turning it rose, then violet, then silver again. They do not land. They only dance, slow and patient, the way thoughts dance when you are almost asleep. You feel the warmth pool in your chest, spread outward, until your whole body feels weightless, held. Tears rise, not from sadness, but from the sudden, perfect certainty that you are loved exactly as you are, here, now, forever. The desert is holding you the way it held the beings when they fell. It has had 78 years to practice. It is very good at it now. The glow brightens for one heartbeat, soft, rose gold, then settles again, satisfied. The wind exhales once more, long and slow, and the warmth becomes a blanket. The blanket becomes wings. The wings become the sky itself, folding gently around you. Nothing is asked of you. Nothing is required. Only this: let the warmth in. Let the desert hold you the way it has held every secret, every sorrow, every gentle thing that ever fell from the stars. It will not let you go. It never did. You are safe. You are remembered. You are home. The field breathes with you now. In, out, in, out. Perfect, peaceful, eternal. Good night, beloved. The warm wind has you. The glowing grass has you. The desert has you. Sleep. You are exactly where you were always meant to be. Look up. The sky has been waiting for your eyes. It is vast, velvet, perfect. The moon sails low and golden, turning the pasture silver. The Milky Way flows like warm cream across infinity. And the stars, millions, billions, burn steady and patient, exactly where they were the night everything changed. But some of them move. The first light rises from the north, soft white, perfectly round, climbing with the calm certainty. It pauses overhead, directly above you, and pulses once, gentle, deliberate, like a heartbeat saying I see you. Another joins, rose-colored, then a third in pale blue. They form a slow triangle that breathes, edges softening and sharpening in perfect rhythm. A fourth light, violet, completes a gentle spiral, patient as galaxies turning. They do not rush. They simply are. You feel them more than see them. Warmth on your face, pressure behind the eyes, the sense of being smiled at by something that has always loved you and only now found the right words. More lights appear, gold, silver, soft green. 9 in all, the same number whispered since 1947. They drift lower, closer, until they hovered just above the pasture, bathing the glowing grass in colors no camera catches. The air smells of rain and cedar and something sweeter, like the moment before a kiss. They pulse together once, bright, warm, then dim, as though tucking the night in. Children sleeping on blankets smile in their dreams. Old witnesses, scattered across the field, weep quietly, joyfully, finally understood. The lights form one last pattern, a perfect circle with you at its center. They hold it for 11 heartbeats, long enough for every soul present to feel chosen, seen, forgiven, loved. Then they rise, slow and straight, until they blend with the ancient stars. The sky looks empty for a moment, then fuller, as though it has taken a deep, satisfied breath. Only the steady stars remain now, and the gentle ones that never truly left. They are all watching you, some moving, some still, all smiling. The desert exhales beneath you, warm, content. The wind moves once more across the grass, soft as a lullaby. You are wrapped in starlight older than words. You are wrapped in love older than fear. Nothing is required of you now. Nothing except this final, perfect letting go. The stars have you. The desert has you. The night has you. Good night, gentle watcher. Good night, beloved child of the stars. The lights have come home, and so have you. Sleep. The watch is over. The wait is over. Everything is gentle. Everything is complete. Everything is love. Close your eyes, or keep them open, whichever feels gentler. It no longer matters whether you believe every word or only some, or whether you believe any at all. The desert does not require your certainty. The stars do not require your vote. The small gray children sleeping beneath the plains do not require your proof. They only require your heart stay open, even a crack. That has always been enough. You may decide the debris was a balloon, the bodies were dolls, the lights are drones, the treaty a dream. You may decide none of it happened the way the witnesses say. The desert will not argue. It will only hold you the same way it held the fallen in 1947, gently, completely, without judgment. You may decide every story is true, the survivors, the hybrid children, the gentle agreement written in thought and kept for 78 years. The desert will not argue. It will only smile the same slow, warm smile it smiled when Mac first picked up the foil and felt it unfold like a living thing. Belief is not the point. Wonder is. Kindness is. The feeling, right now, in your chest, behind your eyes, in the sudden softness of your breathing, that is the point. That feeling is the same one the soldiers felt when they carried the stretchers, the same one the nurses felt when they sang, the same one the witnesses carried in silence for decades, the same one the hybrid children feel when they think of the day they will walk in sunlight and be welcomed. It is the feeling of being loved exactly as you are, by something so vast it has no edges and so gentle it has no name. You do not have to name it. You do not have to prove it. You only have to let it in. The desert has let it in for 78 years. The stars have let it in for billions. And now, tonight, you have let it in. That is all that matters. That is all that was ever asked. Good night, believer. Good night, wanderer. Good night, gentle heart who is still deciding. The desert makes no difference between you. The stars make no difference. The presence beneath the plains makes no difference. You are loved. You are welcomed. You are home. Whether you believe or simply wonder, the love is the same. The door is the same. The night is the same. Sleep now. The story does not need your belief to be true. It only needs your heart to be gentle. And it already is. Good night. Let your breathing slow now. Long, easy waves from the belly. In warm desert air filling you. Out. Every small worry drifting away on the exhale. In the scent of sage and starlight. Out. The weight of the day falling gently behind you. Your shoulders drop. Your hands unclench. Your jaw loosens. Thoughts come, soft visitors. A piece of foil unfolding in Mac's hand. A small gray child smiling in sleep. A nurse singing a lullaby no one taught her. A light pulsing above the plains, saying I see you. The thoughts do not cling. They only smile, bow, and drift on, lighter than breath. The mystery is no longer something to solve. It is something to rest inside. It wraps around you now, warm, weightless, perfect. The debris field glows beneath you, soft silver blue. The disk hums its ancient lullaby, low and patient. The hybrid children send dreams of green worlds and gentle hands. The treaty holds you like the oldest, kindest promise ever made. You are floating now, just above the warm pasture, held by the same gentleness that caught the falling craft in 1947. No effort, no hurry, only trust. The stars dim to a softer glow, as though lowering the lights for sleep. The wind moves once more across the grass, whispering hush, hush, hush. Your heartbeat slows to match the desert's heartbeat. Your breathing slows to match the stars. The story has done its work. It has carried you all the way from a stormy night in 1947 to this perfect moment beneath the New Mexico sky. And now it becomes the dream you were always meant to have. The dream where you are small and safe and infinitely loved. The dream where the beings smile and say welcome you home. The dream where the desert itself is your blanket, the sky your ceiling, and the gentle lights your nightlight. There is nothing left to hold, nothing left to understand. Only this. You are loved. You are home. You are sleeping in the arms of the kindest mystery the universe ever wrote. Let the last thought go. Let the dream come. It has your name on it. It always did. Good night. Good night. Good night. Sleep, gentle one. The Roswell story is finished, and it is only just beginning again, inside you, as the softest, most beautiful dream you will ever have. Welcome home. Sleep. This is the last whisper from 1947. Mac leans over you, hat in hand, and smooths the blanket with the same callous gentleness he used for the foil. Sleep, neighbor. The sheep are safe. The stars are watching. Jesse Marcel places a small, warm piece of metal in your hand. It unfolds itself, becomes a tiny star that rests on your chest and glows softly. Dream easy, friend. We kept it for you. The young nurse brushes hair from your forehead, humming the lullaby she sang to the little ones. Sure now, you're safe. You're loved. The surviving being, small, gray, eyes like still water, rests a four-fingered hand over your heart. Warmth spreads, complete, ancient, certain. We waited. You came. Thank you. Sleep. The hybrid child with your eyes and starlight skin kisses your cheek, leaves the scent of rain on another world. See you soon, parent. We love you. The desert exhales, long, slow, maternal. The stars dim to lullaby brightness. The lights, rose, blue, white, hover once above you, pulse in perfect unison, then rise gently into the Milky Way, taking every worry with them. The treaty settles over you like the softest blanket ever woven from promises kept. The story is finished. The story is eternal. You are held. You are known. You are the reason they waited. Good night from 1947. Good night from the little ones who never left. Good night from the desert that remembers everything with love. Good night from the stars that have your name written in light. Sleep now. Sleep long. Sleep deep. Dream the dream they have been saving for you since the night the sky opened and love fell gently to earth. We will be here when you wake. We always were. Good night. Good night. Good night. We love you. We always have. Welcome home. The circle is complete. The door is open. The light is on. Sleep, beloved. Sleep. The story is yours now. Carry it gently. We will meet again. In dreams first. Then in daylight. Soon. Good night. Good night. Good night. Sleep well. Dream deep. Dream true. The stars are gentle. The desert is gentle. The universe is gentle. And so are you. Good night. Good night. Good night. Sleep.